wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quench the thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
I'm built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah. I've been doing this, I'm on it. I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic, got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play, I want it. You know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic. Keep them out your face, no way, you don't want them, yeah. Don't try to drain my energy. The enemy is everything. It's mentally, unhealthily, spreading like a rare disease. But I won't let it get to me. I don't need your therapy. I can leave a legacy of leading by intensity. Come on, we can fight this. Freedom is priceless. Spread just like a virus. Living in a crisis. Do you feel courageous? Do you seek greatness? Trust me, you can take it. Go on and take your aim. I'm built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah.
I like when you like this, Daddy. Daddy, I like when you scrambling and scraping and shit. I like that.
Just ask them how I did it. I got out the limo, grabbed her hand, went upstairs and fucked her.
Lord Jesus.
I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing?
Stop bouncing me. Yay!
I'm in Miami right now. I'm in Miami right now. I've been after your file. I'm on Ocean Drive. I'm in Miami. In Miami right now. I've been after your file right now. On Ocean Drive right now. That's on my mama. I'm in Miami. I go to the window, so I'm going to Cali. I swear I'm too official. I'm out with them niggas. I'm another rapper on the city. That nigga, he rigging. We pull out with them guns. You know me, in the real. One mama pays, I ain't having ever since that I was real. Now I came up like an 8 and I will never squeal. Whenever ever on my mouth, cause I swear I'm too real. Yeah, I'm in the East Court, I'm living life for real. Why the fuck you can hate it? I ride you to chill. You gon' really piss me off, and I'ma pull up with the steel. I'ma pull up with the Draco and get your ass killed. Man, stop capping, cause I'm fucking wicked. I pull up to your city, tell me your location, bitches. You know we fuck that shit. My youngest know you killing. I wanna grind, got money on my mind, no money on my wrist, so I can tell the time. You know I'm rapping the job and I'm trying to eat. All around the world I'm doing shows, I really come to eat. They trying to play on me, I swear I'm doing shit. One more time I was poor and I ain't have shit. Every day I'm just riding by the same outfit. I done came up, I'm switching cars, yeah, I'm switching shit. These niggas mad at me, they wanna clone me. I'm in Miami right now, I'm off of South Beach. I'm living large, I'm living life. They know me, wanna take my life. Yeah, it's on my mama. I'm in Miami. I'm out there doing this video shooting on the Cali. I'm on my mama, I'm on my mama, and I'm in Miami right now. I'm in the 305, yeah, I'm on Ocean Drive. Pull up with a red car, my life is on now. They wanna play with me, they wanna clone me. I'm bad bitch, Latino, she wanna sleep with me. I'm in the 305 right now. I'm in Miami right now. On Ocean Drive right now. I'm in Miami right now. I'm in Miami. I'm in the 305. 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 I'm in Miami right now. Yeah, I'm on Ocean Drive. I'm in Miami right now. Yeah, I'm on Ocean Drive. Yeah, and the front car. That's don't look at me. I'm the youngest in the game. You can't beat me. Cause I'm that nigga from the bottom. Girl, I will never change. Diamonds on my hoodie. I got diamonds on my chain. I'm in this song. No, that's right. Ain't no game. Yeah. In Miami right now. And the 305. Yeah.
From the streets, bitch.
Yo, man's best friend. And look what I got for Father's Day. Special request. They offered me all kind of fancy stuff. I wanted me a Hungry Jack. Old school at noon. This Hungry Man. A Hungry Man. Salisbury steak. You guys ain't ready for this type of thing. Remember the chicken, the fries? This is the one I'm with the little. I'm going all in with this one. Happy Father's Day.
From the streets, bitch.
Late night crew. Fuck is my ashtray, man? Hold on, this ain't right. Say what's up to your boy. All is right in the universe. Your boy is well rested. I went to sleep last night. Taking a nap before work is normal for me. I was already kind of struggling, like, what the fuck am I gonna talk about, right? And then I woke up, it was 2 o'clock, and I said, fuck it. Went and grabbed me a Pepsi and went back to sleep. Clee, Chadrick, Kendra, Tracy, Ragin, Scott Johnson, Bob, Potato Gaming, Shayna, what's happening? Lennox, good afternoon, sir. Nessa, what up though? Cam, what it do? We back outside. I did see a lot of y'all niggas lying yesterday. Oh, the prosecution destroyed Diddy. It's over for Diddy. Them niggas didn't say that long ass boring closing arguments that didn't explain none of the shit that they was trying to explain. All right, man, y'all got it, bro. I just ain't never seen so many people pray for somebody's downfall, nigga. Like, even evil people, I will not pray for their downfall. Do y'all think I pray for Jed's downfall? Moneyboy Trey's downfall? I know it's coming, but I don't pray for their downfall. Don't nobody's downfall do anything for me. Yeah, that's what you hope, Clee. Jail. Well, he wouldn't be going to jail. He would be going to prison. Those aren't the same things. But see, that's y'all understanding of all of this. Jail! Jail! Okay, nigga. I don't pray for Star's downfall. I predict his downfall. Matter of fact, we're gonna talk about Star bitch ass. Thank you, LA Soul. We could definitely talk about Star. we could definitely talk about Star because I'm glad you brought up Star, LA Soul, because I actually got some shit I want to report on about that fucking fool. Wait till y'all see this shit, nigga. Hold on, nigga. Give me Oh, I almost forgot, man. Shout out to LA Soul. I almost fucking forgot. Just wait. Just wait. Wiley Girl was happening. Oh, Scott, it's a little more funnier than that. I don't pray for people's downfall. That was the old me. Like, old me, you did some shit to me. I wanted you to burn, nigga. I wanted you to burn. Now, new me, I understand actions have consequences. And I don't have to, because back in the day, if you did some shit and I felt like you should have been punished for it, nigga, I might would have tried to help it happen to you or some shit like that. But God showed me I don't have to live like that. Just live for you and let him handle it. Because sometimes the way he gotta handle some stuff, it'll make you feel like, man, ain't nobody getting no punishment for this. Man, you don't know what people be going through behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? So I think Diddy has done a lot of shady ass shit over the years. I don't need to pray for his downfall. God got it. Same thing with motherfucking Troy Terrain. Same thing with motherfucking Jedediah Brown, Moneyboy Trey, all of them motherfuckers. I trust God. I don't have to pray for nobody's downfall. He don't want that from us. We should be praying for them to get right. Because if they get right with him, they'll cut a lot of this shit that we hate out. A lot of the shit that people do that you want to pray for their downfall be satanic and demonic. If we pray they get their souls and minds right with the Lord, you know if you with the Lord, you don't want nobody to have that downfall right. So let's pray they get on the good side before it's too late. Ladies and gentlemen, Gardis Watts. Gardis Watts. Tracy was happening, cuz. Jazzy, what it do? When you look at it from that standpoint, then you'll realize you don't gotta pray for nobody's downfall, man. If it's meant for Diddy to go to prison over this, then it is what it is. I won't lose a wink of sleep. Just like last night. I won't lose a wink. I heard what's happening. Montez was happening. Hashtag more oil. Y'all so full. Cause something happened that really is gonna help my situation that I got going on. For those that don't know, the hearing on the 9th has been canceled because the judge said, oh, I got enough. I can just decide from this shit right here. But I gotta be honest. I'm gonna be honest in this shit. Clemens is your husband. Shout out to Clemens. Big shout out to Clemens. LNC is a great adult family affair. "22 cases of Astroglide is diabolical, but it ain't a felony." I couldn't have said it better. And listening to the defense on closing today, man, the prosecution did a terrible job. Even y'all niggas praying for Diddy's downfall. Why ain't y'all mad at the prosecution? You want Diddy to have his downfall, but y'all still rooting for the niggas that's making it not happen. Make it make sense. When are y'all gonna hold that weak ass prosecution accountable? All them white women sitting over there trying to call him a bad bro. It was one line that they said that I was like, man, you probably shouldn't have said that. It's time for him to face justice. Nigga, that's what niggas always complain about, is the white man sits on one side and just decides one day that it's time for you to walk the plank for no reason. That's what y'all be saying. So I just thought I'd kick back and watch the shit. So what's lies? I lied about what? I lied about what? I lied about what? Please explain to me. Reality Check TV Chicago, my brother in Christ. Good afternoon. What are the lies? Please explain the lies. The fact that you try to litigate all this shit one word at a time lets me know how weak your argument is. Nah, just the facts, I don't think so. No, they didn't. They did not. They did not. Them motherfuckers did no such thing. Them niggas did no such thing. They remember what they're trying to sell you on. Diddy was a dope dealing, like part of the RICO shit is dope dealing, arsonist. All he did was be in a toxic relationship with two bitches. That's all they proved. They proved nothing else. That's why Mark Agnifilo got up this morning and was like, oh, the domestic, he did that shit. That's very powerful for him to get up and say. Because that's all they got. No, I don't think y'all understand. You getting some drugs from personal use and giving some to somebody else, that's not distribution. Just so you know. That's not distribution by the law. They didn't even catch him with an amount enough to say it was intent to distribute. Because there's people that get caught with weed that's personal use, but it's so much, it can be considered intent to distribute. They didn't even have that on Diddy. They don't have it. Just so you know, you having some drugs and giving some to your buddy, giving some to your boyfriend, giving some to your girlfriend, that's not distribution. You should probably go look at the distro law, because that's not distribution. That's what they want y'all to think it is. And here's the part that I told y'all in the very beginning. See, y'all understanding of the law won't matter, because the judge even said it again this morning. I will tell you what the law actually says for you to make your decision, not leaning on your own understanding of law. See, all y'all niggas is leaning on y'all own understanding of the law. That's where y'all be going wrong with this shit. It feels like he was distributing drugs. It doesn't. All right. Y'all was the same niggas that was like, it's going to take 8 weeks. Ain't none of y'all came back was like, well, this is weird. It's taking half of the 8 weeks. Because y'all start from the answer and work backwards. No, you said, no, what you said, Cameron, is you took the plea. You should have fought it and you would have won. You took a plea. You shouldn't have taken a plea. You don't ever take no fucking pleas for shit like that. You took a plea. Diddy ain't taking no pleas. He's in trial. I was facing 21 years and the niggas try to take me, give me a plea for probation. And I said, fuck you. and beat it. That's not distribution. Giving someone a gummy is not distribution. It's not. It's not. They wouldn't have pleaded you out if it was. That's just not distribution. And there has to be way more no, it's not. Let's look it up. Let's look it up. Let's look it up right now. We ain't even got to argue about it. One kilogram or more of a mixture or substance containing a detectable amount of heroin, 5 kilograms or more of a mixture or substance containing a detectable amount of coca leaves, except coca leaves and extracts of coca leaves from which cocaine, ecgonine, and derivatives of ecgonine or their salts have been removed. Cocaine, its salts, optical and geometric isomers, and salts of isomers. Ecgonine, its derivatives, their salts, isomers, and salts of isomers. Any compound, mixture, or preparation which contains any quantity of any of the substances referred to a subclause. 280 grams or more of a mixture or substance described in clause 2, which contains cocaine base, 100 grams or more of phencyclidine, or 1 kilogram or more of a mixture or substance containing a detectable amount of phencyclidine, 10 grams or more of a mixture or substance containing a detectable amount of lysergic acid diethylamide, which is LSD, 400 grams or more of a 400 grams or more of a mixture or substance containing a detectable amount of phenolphthalein, propanamide, or 100 grams or more of a mixture or substance containing a detectable amount of any analog of phenol, 1,000 kilograms or more of a mixture or substance containing a detectable amount of marijuana, or 1,000 or more marijuana plants, regardless of weight, 50 grams or more of methamphetamine, its salts, isomers, and salts of isomers, or 500 grams or more of a mixture or substance containing a detectable amount of methamphetamine. And this is US 21 US Code 841. So one gummy is not distribution. They overcharged you. You go look at the federal law. I just read the federal law. So they didn't even give you an amount, because you know how little it was. They was talking about Diddy motherfuckers was going to pick up some little shit from niggas in the city based on Diddy, for Diddy's wants and shit. That shit's not distro. Because everybody who's ever been caught with some shit would get a distribution charge. The closest you can get is when you have too much for personal consumption. They go, well, this is so much. So if you got caught with any of these amount, they'll say you got caught with possession with intent to distribute, just because of the amount, regardless of any act they found you doing. I just read from the actual law. I didn't edit anything. I don't have no horse in this race. I just read from the actual law. So in the case of a controlled substance, Schedule 4, such persons shall be sentenced to a term of imprisonment of not more than 5 years, a fine not to exceed the greater or that of that authorized in accordance with the provisions of Title 18, or $250,000 if the defendant is an individual, or $1 million if the defendant is other than an individual, or both. If any person commits such a violation after a prior conviction for a felony drug offense has become final, such person shall be sentenced to a term of imprisonment of not more than 10 years, a fine not to exceed the greater of twice that authorized in accordance with the provisions of Title 18, or $500,000 if the defendant is an individual, or $2 million if the defendant is other than an individual, or both. Any sentence imposing a term of imprisonment under this paragraph shall, in the absence of such a prior conviction, impose a term of supervised release of at least 1 year in addition to such term of the imprisonment, and shall, if there was such a prior conviction, impose a term of supervised release of at least 2 years in addition to such term of imprisonment. That's what the federal law says. I didn't just make that up. So it is what it is. And if they found as much drugs on Diddy as they found baby oil, what would we be talking about instead? Not baby oil. It's a very weak case. Very weak case. And that's why they didn't arrest anybody else. Again, I think people think I got a dog in this race. I don't. I see these things. And this ain't nothing new for me. I've been on the opposite side of many of cases that everybody swore they knew what was going to happen. And I know what happens once it happens. Nobody's going to come back and go, you know what, Shay, you was actually right. I know that. That's the top experience of all this. Now, I have no problem saying that, oh, niggas was right. Diddy did go sit in prison for the rest of his life. But for y'all to be like, they proved a RICO, y'all are insane. And part of their RICO predicate is Diddy was a fucking drug dealer. No evidence of such drug dealing has occurred. None. No condom, no nada. He not distro coke or drugs. But look, before I get too far ahead, we gotta talk about Troy Terrain right quick. No, again, Diddy paid. See, y'all think that the only way that would matter is Diddy paid him to keep from shit going public. Diddy didn't pay that guard to hinder a police investigation. So had they called the police like they should have did on Diddy, and then Diddy tried to, then that would be bribery along those lines. But Diddy paying a motherfucker to keep a tape from going public, that's not illegal. That's why they should have called the police. They should have called the police on Diddy. Then if Diddy would have tried to pay them, then he would have been doing that shit to hinder a police investigation. But to assume that that's what he was doing when no police were ever involved in it, still to this day, everybody's seen the video and the police still ain't charged this nigga with shit. Y'all got too much faith in the same motherfuckers y'all swear. I just want y'all to all keep this same energy after Diddy's case. I want y'all to make sure y'all stay on the Fed side in everything going forward. When your favorite TV star, music star, whatever, when it's their turn, I want you to keep the same energy that the feds are right about everything. That's my number one thing coming from this. My number one thing is, damn, y'all niggas are so trusting of the same people that y'all swear be rigging shit. But because it's Diddy and y'all don't like Diddy, then that's what this shit turns into. And that's cool. I mean, I understand it. I don't take none of this. Me personally, I'm never the type of nigga that's like, some people fall out over this shit. Like, I ain't the type of nigga, like, you see, I don't be blocking nobody over you thinking that Diddy's going to go to prison for life or whatever, because it's not worth blocking. It's just a difference of opinion. It's just a difference of opinion. And so I just want people to understand that don't take none of this shit personal. I don't rock with y'all line of thinking about how this shit's processed about the law, but I don't think nothing of you. Like my you know, y'all still my homies all the way through and through. I don't, just for the record, so don't be getting like that with me. Don't be getting all butt hurt with me. Cause yeah, nigga, it's gonna be hashtag Shay is right around this motherfucker. And I know some of you niggas might not even show up that day. I know you'll probably show up the day after. That's cool. And I might point it out, but I just want to make sure that that's all said before we get into deliberation and all the shit next week. Because the last thing, because I know there's a lot of people that have already fallen out over this shit. You know, me being in my position as a YouTuber, especially the type of YouTuber that I am, this type of shit don't bother me. I sleep well at night. Like, I say a lot of things a lot of times that people don't agree with. And I don't be right all the time either. So that shit just does not affect me. Being right is not something that I need. I do not have an incessant need to be right. But I will stand on my square if I feel a certain way about something. Just how I am. And I'm always open for interpretation, new evidence, and all types of other things. And that's why I pointed out that the biggest thing that I find problematic with what you could call the side of Diddy going to prison is nobody on that side will admit that the prosecution did a terrible job with this case. That doesn't change whether or not you think that he's going to prison or want him to go to prison. But just based off facts, they've done a terrible motherfucking job. Terrible. Diddy didn't have to call any witnesses, and I watched his defense attorney today. Well, not watch, but read how his defense attorney is every fucking witness they brought up there. He names off problematic shit that they said, and this is the feds' witness. Why are the feds calling people that aren't stable with their word? That's all I want to know. I mean, one of the most damaging things Kid Cudi said when he was on the stand was, "She played me. She played me." That helps the defense times a million. But before we get there, Troy Terrain, bring that ass to the front of the class. Bring that ass to the front.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Oh, Cam. Oh, hold on. Let me stop. Cam, just for the record, I'm not saying you should have done anything differently. That's number one. You got to look out for you and what's best for you. And cops and shit are crooked. And you won't get me to sit here for 1 second and say that, oh, the police could have came and da-da-da-da-da. Right, the police sure enough could have came and made sure that you went and laid down for a long fucking time on some bullshit. Absolutely. That's not a question. And I'm not questioning you on that at all. And if you thought I was questioning you on that, I truly apologize, because that's not what I'm doing. Not at all. What I'm saying is Diddy's sitting in a whole nother position. They can't just do that shit to Diddy. Hence why they didn't charge him with all the shit they probably should have, because it would have been so much harder, because he's a fucking billionaire with a billionaire lawyer team. Billionaire lawyer team. So I don't want you to think for 1 second I sit here and be like that you shouldn't. No, you do what you feel is best for you. So I just want to make sure that that's it.
Tactical nuke incoming!
No. On my mom, I wasn't saying that. On my mom, I was not saying that. Not in any way, bro. Not in any way, bro. We common folk. I might have been dumb for what I did. It worked out, though. Oh, no. The police don't play fair. Bro, you know how fuck 12 and fuck SWAT. They don't play fair. And yeah, they would have tried, if the motherfuckers would show the court, they would have tried to hit you in the head. So yeah, no, that's not what I was saying at all. No. So I'm glad that's what being honest is about. That's why I can make the clarification. See, some people just felt that I said that and not gave me a chance to explain. So I appreciate that. But speaking of court, Terrain versus Winters. Let me show you this monkey ass nigga. Hey, Troy, you have until June 30th to serve this nigga or you are in trouble. You've wasted all this fucking time fucking with point and shoot, and it appears it's coming to an end. Look at this shit. So let's start with June 4th. Because they told your ass to serve this nigga on March 31st. They said, hey, March 31st, go serve this nigga. Okay, you said this nigga did copyright infringement. Go serve this nigga. Troy Terrain amends he waits. I told y'all this is a trick that he does. He waits until the very end and tries to get another 90 days because he's a fucking dumb bitch. He's an idiot. So he amended his claim on June 4th, hoping that they was like, oh, you get another 30 days, another 90 days. They clap back on the 9th and go, the board found the amended claim filed on March 24th, 2025 compliant on March 31st, 2025 and directed claimant to effect service within 90 days. Claimant filed an amended claim on June 4th, 2025 that is no different from the March 24th, 2025 amended claim. So it remains compliant and there is no need to issue a new compliance packet. The board again instructs claimant to proceed with service. So look, this is the game he's been playing. They told him to amend the complaint, amended. Then this nigga finally did. He waited till the very end to get the claim right. And then they told this nigga to effect service. So this nigga was like, okay. So then he waited until June 25th and was like, look, I want to amend it again. Let me amend it. This is his amendment. This nigga's a fucking idiot. This nigga's like, man, he put a picture of me on his motherfucking Instagram. And nigga, you stupid bitch. This nigga's dumber than all outside. Let's look at this next piece. Let's look at this other piece. He would... Troy Terrain will be releasing his copyright strikes within the next week or so. Clown. This nigga's like, look, he did the same shit that Kelly tried to do. Look, he's online saying stuff about me. You stupid bitch. You fucking moron. He's a moron. Fucking moron. Fucking moron. So what did they have to say to that? On June 25th, 2025, claimant filed 2 screenshots, docket 12 and 13, with the docket type request for leave to amend. These screenshots do not give the board any real idea as to what the amendment would be, and the request is therefore denied under 37 C4 CFR 222.12D23. In any case, an amendment this close to the end of the service period on June 30th, 2025 would cause undue delay and be prejudicial to the respondent. The request is denied without prejudice. The claimant raising a request to amend if the case becomes active after service and the opt-out period. You fucking idiot. You ain't getting no more time, nigga. You've had 3 months, you stupid ass bitch. What a fucking idiot. Thank you for helping my case, bro. Everything that happens in here helps me, bro. Because all we got is evidence of you misusing and abusing systems. Because you have no real case. What a fucking idiot. Like, you just filed 2 screenshots. We don't know what this means, so denied. And as a matter of fact, you still got to the 30th, nigga. This nigga tried on 2 days ago to try to get another extension. Them niggas like, we not extending shit. You get no extension. Yeah, you about to lose. Point you about to make a video and you about to be embarrassed. And your channel getting terminated this year. Hey, nigga, when the judge come back, you just better pray that they don't give me a protective order, because part of the protective order is going to be against you. You fucking idiot. What a fucking dumbass. What a fucking dumb bitch. Basically, Trina, what's happening? Hey, man, the sheriff sent me this shit, nigga. I was over here side split. Ain't that what they say? When shit gets side splitting? Nigga, my side was split. This stupid ass nigga, he's like, man, just let me keep it down another 3 months. No, and you owe this nigga money. You understand this, Troy? You owe this nigga money. If you can't prove this case, you owe money. Money that you don't have. You ain't got it. That's why you take sponsorships from blow-up dolls. Grown-ass man selling sex dolls to his audience is debauchery. Plain and simple. The sheriff won today. All right, man. Shout out to the sheriff, man. You know, first of all, let me just give a big shout out to Point and Shoot, man. Me and Point and Shoot over the last couple months, I just got to give a shout out to the sheriff, man. I don't know how the sheriff found us, but shout out to the sheriff, man. I'll explain more soon. I'll explain more soon. But you know me. I'm probably lying. This nigga gonna be like, look, first of all, nigga, you ain't even in court about his Instagram. You have to open up a whole nother case about that, dumbass. What a fucking idiot. Like, this nigga playing games in court. This is why I don't understand. I remember I pointed out months ago, I was like, Trey and Jed weren't even this stupid. When they saw that a nigga really drove out to California and really filed that lawsuit and it really didn't get thrown out of the court within the first couple weeks, they stopped. They stopped, and now they just sitting around praying. They had, on May 5th, they thought they won, so they popped their heads up out of ground, talked shit for half a second, realized the case wasn't dismissed, and they went back underground. Is this not what happened? Moneyboy Trey popped out and somebody chat, oh yeah, they threw that shit out. Jed, what did Jed say? Jed, what did you have to say on the situation?
Belt to ass, I guess we gon' survive the onslaught of this lawsuit. He got 22 days from the 5th. But boy, I know that he coming back to YouTube because he needs some help because his grip is gone. I might not have the lyrics, but I'm telling y'all that we're looking real strong, and I guess do say we ain't going nowhere. So this is what I'll say. You tried, they helped you, you failed. Good luck. Bye-bye. Dismiss. Get your ass out of here.
And then they found out that the case wasn't thrown out, and they shut the fuck up again. Troy Terrain, on the other hand, this nigga goes into court playing these dumbass games and hoping that nobody figured it out. This nigga got over 100,000 subscribers. Over 100,000 subscribers, and he threw all of that shit away playing these motherfucking games. Hey, Cam, me too. No, Cam, you know what that beat reminds me of? I bullshit you not. So for those that don't know this about me, I've been playing piano since I was like 6 years old. So I've had like multiple Casio keyboards. I had a small one all the way to a bigger one, right? And it would have them pre-programmed beats on it that sounded like this. And I would just try to do different types of remixes and whatnot like that. That's all that shit reminds me of, is one of them programmed beats, and definitely one of the ones I would not select. The Casio would have like 8 or 9 program beats, and then it would have a tempo button where you could make it go really, really fast or make it go really, really slow. Nigga. And even Jed, as stupid as Jed is, TK was happening, as stupid as motherfucking Moneyboy Trey is, they knew better than to go putting their name on court papers lying like this. This nigga, he tried on June 9th to get this shit extended. They said, or June 4th, they said no. Then that nigga was like, well, I got this right here. They like, we don't give a fuck, nigga. Nigga, you got 3 days to serve this nigga, and you don't have, bro, it don't even cost that much to serve him. Just serve him and whoop his ass in court. But that ain't your plan. That's why you owe me money, nigga. You thought you was allowed to take my video down, bro. And then like a dumbass, you thought you was gonna get the motherfucking stream of me reading the amended complaint taken down. You fucking moron. How is that video still down? I'm asking you. Did Ad Rev help you? Because all Ad Rev did was help harass me. And so did YouTube. You should have never did that, boy. I filed sanctions as soon as you did it because you're an idiot. And I need a protective order so you'll stop fucking with me and my channel. Because you fucking with my bread, bro. And I'm already poor. You make so much more money than me. And this is the route you go. And hopefully they paying you good with that blow up doll shit you got going on. Because they charge a lot for them dolls. I went and looked. So. You're an idiot. Just want to make sure we're all on the same page on that. Man, I'm telling you, Kendra, all those pre-programmed joints. Big shout out to Kevin. Man, shout out to my grandparents, rest in peace. I hated practicing my piano, and it was the greatest thing they ever got me to do in my life. It changed my life tremendously. Now, some of this shit, Mark, you gotta, bro, I ain't gonna lie. Some of this shit sounds stupid. Some of this shit is not helping Diddy. I ain't gonna lie. Because I don't think the defense has played no perfect game. I just think that the feds have played a really bad game when it comes to Diddy. Morgan, what's happening? Meesh! Hey, man, I need y'all to hit the like button. Shit, I can read music. I had to do theory. I hated the theory book. Oh, Jesus. And then at some point, like my grandfather ended up getting a piano for like $50. Somebody was just selling it, and I had a piano. I had 2 pianos. I had a big ass piano, and then my church got a brand new piano and got rid of it and just let me have it. So I went from keyboards to pianos, and then all of that shit helped turn me into one of the illest DJs you've ever heard in your life. because that's when I found out why I was so much better than a lot of DJs. A lot of them niggas didn't know how to even count. They didn't know how to count beats properly and break them down to, you know, 4 count, 8 count, 16, 32 counts, whatever the fuck is needed. Montez, that music theory was I had 2 books. I had a lot of the shit I learned was out of the John Thompson book. I got to get a cassette player. I found a tape from when I was young that says my recitals on it. That music theory was a punk. But see, I'm going to tell you when I started liking it. When I got to high school, I had piano class. When I got to high school, and when I would go to the music store to like buy sheet music, because, you know, growing up, all I bought sheet music was like classical music or church songs. But when I got in like high school and was going to the store, I started realizing like, wait, y'all had R&B joints. So one of the first R&B sheet music I ever bought was Montel Jordan, What's On Tonight. And like learning all of them shits, learning Ribbon in the Sky, learning like I Get So Lonely, Janet Jackson, like all these R&B joints, the bitches was on it. The bitches love a nigga that can play R&B tunes on the piano. And so this is where we was at. The accordion is tough. Forgotten what's happening. Yep. I'm telling you, motherfuckers who getting any of this beat making, DJing, and all this other shit, even rapping, like when motherfuckers know how to like count and like the basic theory of music and shit like that, they end up being so much colder than everybody else. Because everybody else is just kind of learning off of ear, which is very respectable. Playing things by ear is respectable. But when you know exactly how things work and exactly how to read music, like learning how to read music is extremely powerful. Timbaland might be the first person sued over some AI shit and lose. Because he went a tad too far with it and wasn't disclosing it properly. Augmented, diminished scales. I had 2 books. I had my John Thompson book with the music that progressively got harder from, you know, because John Thompson books go up in skill. So you finish one book, you go to the next one, be a little harder, so on and so forth. You know, I still know how to play all my classical shits, my Fur Elise, and all types of shit. Moonlight Sonata was my favorite classical song to ever play. But it was that other book. That damn theory book was so fucking dreadfully boring. Shout out to my piano teacher, John Campbell. And then I had Mrs. Price. I hated it. I hated going over their house when it was just so, bro, Tuesdays was over. Everybody outside playing, having fun. I had to go to piano practice. Yeah. Avid, we became that because a nigga went to sleep last night. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie. I went to bed. I take naps before work. I woke up at 2:00 and said, fuck this. Went back to bed. I've been up since about 6. My sleep schedule's all off. Like, I feel better. Fucking the parade and all of that shit caught up to me. Finally caught up to me. But now we gonna talk some Diddy closing arguments. Now, I can't wait to see how the defense is going to try this whole, or not the defense, but the prosecution on the rebuttal. Because I do think the defense pointed out a couple good things today so far. Obviously, they still in there now. Oh, well, I wasn't, Bob. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't give a fuck who was awake. I didn't give a fuck I didn't even make a post. I'm telling you, I woke up, saw it was 2:00. I went and got a Pepsi and crawled right back into bed and went to sleep. Woke up fully rested. It was an amazing decision. Hey, y'all all say Diddy's done, but matter of fact, let me get y'all niggas on record. We can do this together. Trying to type with the blunt is wild. Go ahead, get y'all asses on record. I woke up, I had a text from KS. I was like, yep, went to sleep. It never happens, but it happened. Oh, they updated it. They put the poll in the chat on the screen. I've never seen it do that. Uncle Duck was happening. Rule number 5, we back outside, OG. So let's see what the defense is saying on closing. Defense attorney says evidence shows a swinger's lifestyle and prosecutors exaggerated beyond that. Kicking off his closing argument, defense attorney Mark Agnifilo said this has been a tale of 2 trials. First, there's the trial as told by the witnesses, the text messages, and the videos, Agnifilo said. The second trial is the trial as told to you by the mouths of the prosecutors. That I submit to you is the false trial. That is the exaggerated trial. That is not the real trial. As for what he said is the first trial, the trial of the evidence, he said that is about a lifestyle. You want to call it swingers. Whatever you want to call it, that's what it is. That's what the evidence shows. I tend to agree with that in a lot of ways. That's why I keep asking, where's the trafficking? Defense attorney recounts positive things some of his former employees said about Combs. Quote, let's talk for a second about what the evidence shows about Sean Combs. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo said, quote, Sean Combs has become something that is very, very hard to be. Very hard to be. He is a self-made, successful black entrepreneur, end quote. Don't start that shit. Don't start. Nigga, I don't give a fuck about this nigga being black. Because to be honest with you, whether or not you black, to get to where Diddy is, it's hard even if you're white. But I see the angle y'all already trying to take. Oh, he's a persecuted black man. That wouldn't really work with me if I was on the jury, I'll be honest with you. Combs has created, quote, wonderful, sophisticated, real businesses that have stood the test of time, Agnifilo said. He recounted the positive things some of Combs' former employees said about him in their testimony earlier in the trial. Quote, did they always like him? No way. Let's not even go there. Wait, that's a terrible statement. Quote, but they loved him. They didn't want him to leave or want to leave him, end quote. Defense portrays Combs as a DEI pioneer.
You know, Rick is so wild and has went so far off the meter. It's shit that I can't even tell you on TV. I mean, you know, for the sake of our friendship, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna bring it up. But trust me, he's went there. He has went where it's like, yo, Rick, man, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? You done took this shit too far. And his response is like this: there's no such place. Darkness. Let's go to the abyss, nigga. I'm not with it, man. I don't want to go to the abyss, man. You know what I'm saying? Rick wants to go to the abyss. In fact, he dwells in the abyss. Rick James dwells in the abyss, okay? And he wants company sometimes, you know? And for some reason, he likes to reach out for me. Whenever I'm around, when he wants to go there, he will reach out for me to try to take me to the abyss with him. And I'm not with it, man. I'm not with it. And that's when we end up, you know, tussling or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Diddy is a motherfucking DEI pioneer. No, nigga. This ain't helping. For me, this is all bad. Now, I wish that it was all bad across the board, but unfortunately it ain't. There's some people that respond to that fucking foolishness. Diddy was a DEI pioneer, nigga. Hey, just when you thought you heard it all, nigga. A fucking DEI pioneer. Oh, this trial is too much for me. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo praised Sean Diddy Combs for the businesses that he built. Businesses, Agnifilo said, focused on diversity. Nigga, just because you started a business where you hired niggas does not mean you focus on diversity. Because now what comes into question is, well, how many non-black people were you hiring for Mr. Diversity Inclusion, nigga? He's a DEI pioneer. The defense attorney said that Combs was practicing diversity, equity, and inclusion, known as DEI, before it was a mandated practice. He was doing this in 1993 as a 24-year-old by himself. Swing and a miss. The part that pisses me off is some people fall for that shit. And trust me, and it's a very selective portion of people. See, Jed and others will swear that they for black-owned businesses and shit like that, but I'm independent and black-owned, and you think that stops them niggas from trying to fuck with my business? No, they don't give a fuck. Yeah, y'all might want to stay off of that one. No witnesses said they were part of racketeering conspiracy or worked in the enterprise, defense attorney says. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo balked at the idea that Sean Diddy Combs' business was a racketeering enterprise. He said no witnesses said they were part of a racketeering conspiracy or worked in the enterprise. Quote, you didn't hear that from the evidence. You didn't hear that from a witness or from any of the witnesses. You didn't. Nobody got up there and testified to being part of a fucking criminal conspiracy. Any type of racketeering. Nobody did. Mostly what people got up there and testified to was Diddy had toxic ass relationships. Asen, what's happening? That's true. Quote, the man takes care of people, end quote. Defense attorney says, I'm going to read it, then I'm going to give my honest assessment on that statement. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo told the jury that 6 of Sean Diddy Combs' 7 kids are in the courtroom along with Combs' mother. The jury should know about Combs' character, he said, quote, the man takes care of people, end quote. He said this is evident through his relationship with Jane. Combs paid for her home where she takes care of her child. Quote, I hope she's having a nice day, but you know where she's doing it? In a house he's paying for, end quote. That's powerful for me personally. This nigga's in there paying for her shit. She comes into this motherfucking courtroom testifying against a nigga that's paying for her house. That's a little shaky to me. That's a little shaky to me. But here's the other thing. I found this to be laughable at the beginning of the trial. But if you really look at the situation with Diddy, I had to actually step back on this because I was like, man, Diddy is he don't take care of nobody. I'm not saying that anything he did to any of these artists he should have done and was okay with doing, but that's really it. We've only heard artists say that he did them wrong. We have heard nobody else. As a matter of fact, we've heard multiple stories of people trying to get back working with Diddy after the fact, including some artists. That's just being unbiased. That's the truth. And I had to come off of that because I was like, yeah, but when you really look at it, it's just like, it's some artists. And here's the biggest way you could tell. The feds didn't have anybody testify against Diddy that really, even the motherfuckers that said they saw Diddy do some shit, them motherfuckers never said that Diddy shorted them money. None of it. They all said they got their bread. Because that was the shit I was waiting to hear, and nobody got up there and said the shit. Reading this type of shit just makes me, again, question why the feds didn't just charge him with the shit they could have charged him with. What, 5 years wasn't enough? That nigga's 50, bro. 5 years is enough for a 50-year-old man. And they maybe could have really got like 10 years on him and maybe 5 and then got this nigga maybe on some parole or shit like that. But they wouldn't even get this nigga bail. Agnifilo mocks 2024 searches of Combs' homes. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo sarcastically talked about the searches of Sean Diddy Combs' homes by Homeland Security investigations in Los Angeles and Miami Beach in 2024. Quote, boxes of Astroglide taken off the streets. Woo! I feel better already. What did I tell y'all day one? I said, why are we focusing on this baby oil? What about the shit he could actually be arrested for? Artificial lubricant? Not for me. The streets of America are safe from the Astroglide. Quote, and they got the baby oil. And they found the personal use drugs. They did it. It's all worth it. Thank goodness for the special response team. They found the Astroglide. They found the baby oil. They found like 5 Valium pills. Way to go, fellas. That's a funny way to put it. This isn't about a crime. This is about money, defense attorney says, citing lawsuits against Combs. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo said that none of Sean Diddy Combs' alleged victims called law enforcement. Quote, they do call somebody, though. They call civil plaintiffs lawyers. That's who they call. This isn't about a crime. This is about money. I can give you that partially. The only thing is if we sitting in criminal court, though. If this was we was in civil court and you brought this up, maybe that would move the needle for me. But we sitting in criminal court, though. Quote, Cassie Ventura sued Sean Combs for $30 million because Sean Combs has $30 million. That's true. See, that's where it do become true. Because if this was somebody else, you wouldn't be suing them for $30 million unless you knew they had $30 million. So, I mean, that is a true statement. This very investigation came out of that civil case. No $30 million, no lawsuit. No $30 million, no lawsuit, no criminal case. That's why we're here. We're here because of money. That is a good tie-in. This is why I didn't understand why the feds and Fat Joe, you got to pay attention. This is the same way they got Diddy. I just didn't understand why the feds pretty much based their whole case off of Cassie's civil case. That's why I feel the feds got her to do that shit. Quote, we own the domestic violence, end quote. But Combs' relationship with Ventura was about love, attorney says. Quote, we own the domestic violence, defense attorney Mark Agnifilo said repeatedly. He said they didn't run away from it or challenge the two ex-girlfriends who testified against Sean Diddy Combs, Cassie Ventura or Jane, about it. Let's stop there. You hear this, feds? This nigga's attorney, because y'all stupid asses won't charge him with any of this shit. His attorney can now get up and go, yeah, Diddy beat them hoes. Yep, they got into all of that shit, but that was just a domestic situation. All y'all had to do was charge this nigga, man. Just laziness, nigga. Laziness. Quote, I don't think we asked her a single question to challenge anything about, or anything she said about being hit, being kicked, being dragged. Agnifilo said about the cross-examination of Ventura. The issue is domestic violence, Agnifilo said of Combs' relationship with Ventura. He referenced a social media statement Ventura made after CNN in 2024 published surveillance videos showing Combs' assault Ventura at the Intercontinental Hotel in California in 2024. Quote, she was very precise and very clear about what the issue was for her. The issue for her, who was there, domestic violence is the issue. I said from day one, why wouldn't y'all charge him with the shit we know he's guilty of? Why? Quote, when she says domestic violence is the issue, I'm asking you to believe her, end quote. Agnifilo told the jury that between Combs and Ventura, who sued Combs in November 2023 before the suit was settled the next day, Ventura, quote, won. Agnifilo said the suit demanded $30 million. Ventura has testified it was settled for $20 million. Yeah, but you got another 10 from that fucking hotel, which I'm trying to understand how they had the money when they closed. If you had to pick a winner in this whole thing, it's hard not to pick Cassie, Agnifilo said, pointing out that Combs is sitting in jail while awaiting the outcome of his trial. That is a dumbass statement. They could have had the state charge him. Yeah, DV ain't a federal charge. They could have had the state charging. And if we saying that it's past the statute of limitations, then the feds, y'all just lost. Like this is a poorly put together federal case, in my opinion. I stand on that. They like, this nigga's guilty of this shit, so we want you to just kind of make him guilty of this shit because he did this other shit. And you'll never get me personally to go for shit like that. I will never find anybody guilty of something else due to some guilt you have over other things. That's just, it's just not me. I don't believe in that. That's very evil. That is some very evil shit to do. And the devil tricks people in believing that's the right thing to get quote unquote get even. But to sit here and say that the biggest winner and pick a winner in this whole thing is Cassie, that's I think that's a very, very bad statement by his lawyer. Because even if I believe that Cassie did all of this shit and, you know, so she can get this money and this, that, and the third, like, I don't think she wanted the whole world to see her get her ass beat. I've heard her on audio threaten to kill a motherfucker, and the main reason why she wanted to kill the motherfucker is because she didn't want shit about her getting out. She didn't want her husband to learn about her getting her mouth pissed in and all this other shit. So yeah, she may have won the money, but I don't think, I think that's a very bad statement. Combs and Ventura were not part of a racketeering conspiracy, according to Agnifilo. Quote, it's a real relationship and they were in love, end quote. They worked 10 years, bro. And she wasn't no fucking slave. Quote, Cassie's no joke. And that's why he loved her. She matched him. She was like him, end quote. Agnifilo called their relationship a great modern love story. Nigga, what? Nigga, no. No. Do you have evidence that everybody on the jury is part of toxic ass relationships? I ain't saw nothing that made them a great modern love story. What the fuck? Telling the jury that they could cry at text messages Combs and Ventura exchanged professing their love to each other. I'm sure they had some, that's how them relationships are. They love heavy and they fight heavy. Full on love bombing from both sides, full on fist bombing from both sides. Like, that's wild. Now, Trina that's a good point, Trina. Her husband did work for Diddy. And the thing is the reason why I don't feel like it's a good statement is because I have to know all of the jurors. If all of the jurors were like me, then it would be a better, more effective statement because I've seen how Cassie has monkey branched from nigga to nigga, using every nigga in all these different ways to get what the fuck she want. I mean, she embarrassed the fuck out of her husband for the public to see so she can get $30 million. That's a fact. She left Ryan Leslie to be with Diddy because it was an upgrade. She could have fucked with any other nigga, but she was fucking with football. She was cheating on Diddy with football players. She was cheating on Diddy with Kid Cudi and all this shit. That's why for this whole Rico shit y'all trying to prove, Cassie was a very bad thing to use. Especially since she didn't get up there and testify to like real crimes. Like, you know, she got immunity, so she got to testify to real crimes. If it was that, we'd be looking at it differently. At least I would. Can't speak for everybody else. Great modern love story. Yup, sound like some shit you would pick up in line at the grocery store. Ventura eventually made an adult choice to leave the relationship in 2018 and felt no pushback from Combs, Agnifilo said. That's a good point. Quote, she was always free to leave. She chose to stay because she was in love with him. And she admitted that she stayed because she couldn't pay for the shit that he was paying for. And a lot of people try to say, oh, well, that's financial manipulation. No, financial abuse. No, it ain't. If I'm fucking rich and I'm paying for you as my fucking girl, the fact that when you leave me, you don't get all my, you don't have nobody to pay for all this shit. That's not me financially abusing you. I'm rich. I can buy these things. You leave me, we not together no more. You can't say that it's abuse that you have to go back to being poor. I've heard a lot of people say that shit. I'm like, she was not financially abused. She could have left. I heard her testify herself that she didn't want to leave because of shit. And I even heard her say shit like the one thing that bothered me all the way through and through is her saying he would show up to my house unannounced. You mean the house he fucking paid for? I wish I would pay for a motherfucker's house and they ever say I showed up unannounced. What? Especially you, my girl. What the fuck you mean I showed up to the house I paid for unannounced? Make this make sense. Agnifilo addressed Combs and Ventura's sex life. Quote, she's a woman who actually likes sex. Good for her. She's beautiful. She should. She's intense. She's unafraid. They were their best selves when it came to sex. They fought when it came to other women. End quote. Agnifilo said. Out of the scores of text messages admitted into evidence in the trial, Agnifilo said, quote, you won't find one where she's like, I don't like that sex. I'm not attracted to you. I don't like our sex life. It's just not for me. End quote. We didn't. We didn't. That's a good statement. All them text messages and shit, we never saw that shit. None of these outcry witnesses. Like, remember, they had testimony from multiple people that claimed to be cool with Cassie, and none of them testified to Cassie even being an outcry witness to them, talking about how he makes me do all these sexual things I don't like doing and don't want to do. As a matter of fact, one person who knew, she threatened to kill. She threatened to kill. We didn't even hear any evidence of Diddy threatening to kill anybody. We heard straight from the horse's mouth that she was ready to kill a nigga. So that's actually a good point. Agnifilo said Ventura and Combs match up when it comes to sex. That's disturbing. Quote, I guess you could call them swingers. I guess you would call it a lifestyle, end quote. Yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to call it, my nigga. I won't call it that. Defense attorney calls Ventura a gangster. Wait, what? Pointing to burner phone when she used to stay in touch with Kid Cudi. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo reminded the jury that Kid Cudi confirmed that Cassie Ventura played him. Quote, she played him good too. She played them both, end quote. That's powerful. He did sit on the stand and say that Cassie played him. And this is a common thing for men. A lot of men know that have either had this happen to them or heard about this happening to a nigga they know. What am I talking about? You got some fucking girl into her fucking man, making it seem like he's the worst nigga ever, all of this shit. Then they get you into a beef with this nigga under the guise of you're gonna leave your man to be with them. Only for the man to find out that she is a whore, she ain't shit, and she just didn't want to be held accountable. And then you find out that the nigga didn't do half the shit she said, and on top of all of that, she stayed with that nigga. And when confronted head on, hey, you leave him to be with me, no, she'll pick the established nigga right in front of the man. Fellas, did I make this up? 1 for yes, 2 for no. This is a very common thing. And that's what Kid Cudi made that shit sound like when he's like, he got played. That's what he meant. And in my opinion, for sure. He listened to her. Oh man, big bad wolf, get me away, blah, 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 blah. And then in the end, you chose that nigga. You embarrassed me. I end up taking losses. And then you chose this nigga anyway. This is a very common story. So that's very powerful. That's what I even pointed out when Kid Cudi said it on the stand. I was like, that's bad. Because now he's looking like, man, I got into all this shit, got my car burnt, all this motherfucker shit, and this bitch still stayed with that nigga. He referenced the prosecution's argument that Ventura was scared of Combs. Quote, she lied to him for a long time, over and over and over, as she had another relationship with another singer-songwriter under his nose. She's not afraid of him. Agnifilo called Ventura a gangster, pointing to the burner phone she used to stay in touch with Kid Cudi and saying she was trying to pull off lying to both men. I can see that. Now, Capricorn Clark. This was a huge mistake putting this bitch up there. When I saw how she was dressed going to court, I was like, and this is who y'all put on the stand, this bitch. Oh, okay. You see this nigga's face? This is my face looking at her too, like. She was not kidnapped, defense attorney says of allegation made by Capricorn Clark. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo next addressed the 2004 kidnapping allegation made by Capricorn Clark, who said she was kidnapped and held for 5 days of lie detector testing after Sean Diddy Combs' jewelry went missing. Clark is, quote, a little out there, end quote, Agnifilo said. Clark testified at trial that she wanted her life back. Quote, the world Sean Combs created and is at the center of, that's the life she wants back, end quote. She says she couldn't get work in the industry after leaving Combs' employ. She also acknowledged that she reached out to Combs for work in the years after she stopped working for him. Agnifilo told the jury that Clark had a crush on Combs and wanted their platonic friendship to be more. Agnifilo recounted Clark's testimony about the lie detector test and when she said a large man 5 times her width threatened to throw her in the East River if she didn't pass. Agnifilo mocked the idea that prosecutors charged the 2004 alleged kidnapping as an underlying act for the racketeering conspiracy charge. Each day after hours of testing, Clark said one of Combs' security guards drove her home. Let's stop right there. That's where I had the problem. I've never heard of like a 9 to 5 kidnapping. I've never heard of niggas kidnapping you for the bulk of the day and then taking you home and then picking you back up to be kidnapped the next morning. I personally never heard of no shit like that, nigga. Never. I've never heard of this. Nigga, either you kidnapped or you ain't, nigga. There ain't no, nigga, you kidnapped and didn't get to go home. Agnifilo likened the experience to the jury that spends long hours in this courthouse each day, then goes home. Quote, "You're about as kidnapped as she was kidnapped." Wow. Yeah, she was on the work release kidnapping program. I never heard of this shit. Motherfucker get kidnapped from 9 to 5, drop you off. Bitch, have your ass ready in the morning so we can kidnap that ass again. Quote, "It's unsettling. That's the whole reason investigators use it. It's unsettling," Agnifilo said. Quote, "I have no doubt she was unsettled, but she was not kidnapped," end quote. Agnifilo said that Combs had the starring role in A Raisin in the Sun around the time the lie detector test. Diddy, I forgot your black ass was in Raisin in the Sun. That shit was garbage. Hey, have you ever seen Raisin in the Sun with Diddy, nigga? Clee, there is no kidnapping where you get dropped back off at home and then picked up again. That's not how kidnapping works. Y'all niggas want Diddy in prison so bad that y'all will argue for part-time kidnappings. No, you know, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's not how kidnapping works. This bitch was kidnapped for some hours each day. Quote, "He's starring on Broadway. He is involved in the middle of a very significant voter drive campaign called Vote or Die. He is running all these companies. Do you think he's waiting on the edge of his seat? How's that lie detector test coming back? I can't wait to see if she passes," Agnifilo said. Quote, "He couldn't care less. He had nothing to do with it." Do I believe that nigga was his whole days was worried about it? No. Do I think he knew about it? Yes. I definitely think the nigga knew. I can't prove it. The defense continues to try to cast doubt on Capricorn Clark's kidnapping allegations. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo recounted the kidnapping allegation made by former Sean Diddy Combs employee Capricorn Clark, who said Combs came to her home with a gun and brought her to rapper Kid Cudi's house in December 2011. Agnifilo said that Clark was probably so honored that Combs finally came to her house for the first time. Quote, if he asked her to take a trip to the moon, she'd go, and she knows that. He doesn't need a gun, Agnifilo said. He pointed out that Kid Cudi testified that Clark didn't mention a gun when she called them that day. Had Capricorn said gun, Cudi would have remembered gun. You're not going to forget gun. Gun's one of the feared words in our language. Kid Cudi also didn't mention a gun to the responding police officer, Agnifilo said, adding that the officer wrote up the incident as a trespass. Remember, Kid Cudi testified his house was broken into in December 2011 after Combs learned that Kid Cudi and Cassie Ventura were dating. Clark testified that before Combs went to Kid Cudi's house, Combs kidnapped her, showing up to her home carrying a gun and demanding that she come with him. Clark testified she rode in a vehicle with Combs to Kid Cudi's house, but that she stayed in the vehicle when Combs went in. Here's what I personally think happened with that situation. This is just, I can't prove this, okay? This is just my opinion. I think what happened was Diddy found out went over her house and was talking about doing all of this shit. I believe it's possible Diddy had the strap with him. I don't think they went over Kid Cudi's house. And here's an even alternate thing. I think she went and set that fire for Diddy. This bitch is like, I went over there. He kidnapped me, but left me by myself in a car with a phone. I think Diddy, one of the two things, I think Diddy left her house and she assumed that that's where he was going. And so she called Cassie and gave Cassie the lowdown. That's why she's like, I was in the car. No, I don't think you was in the car. I think you was at the crib. Because if you was with them, you set the car on fire. If you can prove to me you was with them, I believe you set the car on fire. They only found female DNA. And she was the only female that's putting herself at the crime scene. Cudi wasn't there. Cassie wasn't there. Diddy's a man. The security guard was a man. So how did female DNA get in there for the, I think they said around the cocktail, the Molotov cocktail. And the fire chief, the fire department dude got up there and testified that the burning inside of Kid Cudi's car was not consistent with a Molotov cocktail. So they found the cocktail in there, but the burning wasn't like that. So this makes me wonder, Kid Cudi, did you come home and see that shit and then you set that shit on fire yourself so you can get a little bit of insurance bread? Because I'm trying to understand. That was one thing of this whole trial that was a head scratcher to me. I was like, so it's female DNA. We ain't try to find no female. This was, y'all saying Diddy did it, but the DNA is part of a female. And then the fire dude gets up there and goes, yeah, the inside of this shit was burnt the fuck up, but it wasn't consistent with that Molotov cocktail doing it. This is why that's why the feds sent that letter to the judge like, yeah, for the jury instructions, we backing off of some of this shit. Agnafilo says there's no evidence Combs had anything to do with setting fire to Kid Cudi's Porsche. Defense attorney Mark Agnafilo knocked Capricorn Clark's credibility and the validity of her story. He said Clark had to lie about the gun so it didn't seem like she was helping Sean Diddy Combs. That's powerful. Quote, she doesn't want to give the impression that she's like part of this, end quote, of her own volition. The defense attorney acknowledged that Combs was at Kid Cudi's house that day. He acknowledged that the responding police officer caught the Escalade license plate that was linked to Combs' company. Agnafilo said the incident shows that Combs is a fighter who would look for a good old-fashioned fist fight to confront Kid Cudi, so it'd be out of character for Combs to plot a car bombing. Quote, there is no evidence he had anything to do with the Porsche, end quote, Agnafilo said. Now, here's the crazy thing. Diddy is on record catching fades. We've heard multiple stories throughout the years of Diddy slapping Drake, beating up Hype Williams, and these was all like in public. Diddy is actually on record catching phase, as crazy as that would sound. Which I was surprised the prosecution didn't bring up none of his other violent past of like beating up other celebrities and shit like that in public. Like, that actually surprised me. Combs is not going to blow up Kid Cudi's car, defense attorney says. Blowing up the car of rapper Kid Cudi would have been a coward's way out, defense attorney Mark Agnafilo said. Quote, he's going to fight him. He's not going to blow up his car, he said, referring to Sean Diddy Combs. And there's some validity to that in the sense that he slapped Drake over the motherfucking 0 to 100 beat. There's multiple witnesses that said they saw Diddy slap the shit out of Drake. There's multiple witnesses that said over the Hate Me Now video, he didn't want to be shown on the cross. Hype Williams put it in the video anyway, and Diddy walked into a party, took a bottle and hit that nigga over the head with a fucking bottle in front of everybody. So if he's willing to fight Hype Williams and fight Drake, I don't know why he would be scared to fight Kid Cudi. I just really don't understand why the prosecution didn't bring up like none of that violence and shit that's on record. Agnifilo said that the investigation into the arson was, quote, a terrible investigation, asserting that the investigator didn't know what happened to fingerprints that were recovered. He underscored the investigator's testimony that a partial DNA profile from the scene was consistent with the female. Remember, Kid Cudi testified his Porsche was set on fire with a Molotov cocktail in January 2012 after Combs learned in late 2011 that Kid Cudi and longtime Combs' girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, were dating. The Porsche was damaged beyond repair, he said. Kid Cudi testified he suspected Combs was involved, but the defense pointed out no one was arrested in connection with the car fire. Agnifilo says Combs offering cash to hotel security was not bribery under the law. Here we go. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo said the instances of Sean Diddy Combs offering Intercontinental Hotel personnel money following the 2016 assault of Cassie Ventura was about preventing bad publicity and was not a bribe under relevant law because there was no law enforcement investigation and Combs wasn't trying to hinder a law enforcement investigation. You can't say that's a lie, bro. You can't say that's a lie. Agnifilo said police were nowhere near the situation. That's why they should have called the police. This would have been a whole different game. At the hotel, police were nowhere near the situation at the hotel, and Ventura didn't want police involvement. He said law enforcement only came hours later to an apartment because Combs was banging on the door. Agnifilo referenced Combs' repeated attempts to reach Ventura after she left the hotel. Quote, he's calling her and she's freezing him out, as she should. He's just trying to get her attention. Remember, Eddie Garcia, who worked as a security officer at the Intercontinental Hotel in March 2016, testified that Combs gave him $100,000 in cash to obtain surveillance video of Combs assaulting Ventura. Also, Israel Flores, who was a security official at the hotel, testified that Combs offered him a stack of cash as a bribe following the altercation. Defense attorney says Combs did not try to witness tamper in the case of Mia, a former employee. Sean Diddy Combs did not witness tamper in the case of Mia in 2023 and 2024 during the federal investigation, his attorney Mark Agnifilo said. The defense attorney suggested the government misled the jury when it suggested D-Rock, the former head of Combs Security, was trying to give Mia money to influence her. Agnifilo showed the jury text they seen earlier in the trial from a conversation between Mia and D-Rock when she told him she was out of money. D-Rock responded, offering Mia help if she needed it. Agnifilo did not address the other reach outs from D-Rock and Combs to Mia during the ongoing federal investigation. Mia is a former employee who testified using a pseudonym and recounted multiple alleged instances of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. Nigga, look, it's going to be hard for me to believe. It's going to be really hard for me to believe that Diddy didn't try to bribe anybody. That's whether or not you really proved it or not. Because Diddy got bribe money. He got the kind of bread that don't matter if a few crumbs are blown. So, yeah, they got to prove it, but that's a much lower threshold for me. And it's because he's got the type of money where he can just drop some shit off. He ain't even got to have no conversation with you like, hey, I'll give you this if you promise not to. No, he got the type of money where you can just come outside and see a Rolls Royce in your driveway with the keys in it and the title in your name. Jury took a break. Combs blew kisses at his family when he when he entered this morning. Who is this? Who is this on this jacket? Do y'all know? And this nigga, he done gained a little bit of weight during the trial. This is Justin, right? Who is this on this motherfucking jacket? Somebody has to know. Nobody? Nobody know? Janice, what's happening? Nobody know? That's his mom. That's Billie Holiday. Okay. That don't look like Kim Porter to me. I guess I have to find out. Somebody knows. Hold on. Let me look. I'm sure somebody knows. I'll have to check some of my fashion folk later. Are we sure that's Kim Porter? That don't look like Kim Porter to me. I mean, it could be. Same body type. Who made it? That don't look like Kim to me. What is that? What does that say on the arm? What does this say? Okay, this maybe this. Is that LEMBE or is that IEMBE? LEMBE. Okay, it's Limby. Appears to be. Y'all taxing for this ugly ass shit, nigga. This shit is ugly. This shit looks stupid as fuck. Oh no. This is fashion for the zestiest of the zesty. Oh no. Napa was happening. Joy was happening. When Sean Diddy Combs entered the courtroom this morning, he blew kisses in his family's direction. All 6 of his adult children are in attendance. The 3 sons, the 3 daughters are seated in the second row behind him. Also, there are his mother and his sister. Fahim Muhammad, Combs security chief, who prosecutors said is part of the alleged conspiracy, is seated with the Combs family. When they return, judge tells jurors they should not consider prosecutors' charging decisions. Before the break, Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey asked the judge to give curative instructions to the jury regarding 3 issues in attorney Mark Agnafilo's closing argument. She said Agnafilo improperly asked the jury to consider why the prosecutors charged a particular racketeering predicate and stated the Intercontinental video shows a misdemeanor assault. She also said, and that's the thing about that video. That's all that video shows is some domestic violence. And I don't mean that, this ain't to downplay domestic violence. We talking about in the scope of this case, for the record. So I know how some of you niggas, man, Shay okay with beating bitches. Okay then, I'm gonna beat you, bitch. She also said he improperly suggested that Combs was charged with crimes like arson and kidnapping when they're actually included as predicates of the racketeering count. Judge Subramanian said those issues were, quote, grossly improper, particularly the one questioning charging decisions. The judge said he would give a jury a curative instruction addressing that issue. When the jury returned, Subramanian told them there was a suggestion in the defense's closings that they should consider prosecutors' charging decisions. Quote, it would be improper for you to consider such matters in your deliberations, and you should disregard those comments, he said. The judge also told the jury that he would be the one instructing them on the law in this case. See why y'all shouldn't have did that stupid shit? So now it's the old withdrawing trick. That shit don't work. Saying some real fucked up shit to me like withdrawing, that shit does not work. I've always thought it should be some more of a punishment to that type of shit. But the prosecution opened this dumbass door. Fucking idiots. Defense attorney, sexual conduct between Combs and Mia was consensual. Defense attorney Mark Agnafilo has turned back to the topic of Mia, a former Sean Diddy Combs employee who testified using a pseudonym and recounted multiple alleged instances of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse from Combs. Mia testified with the first false persona in court, Agnafilo said. He said the bubbly person in the birthday video that the jury watched is Mia's true personality. And Mia falsely testified that Combs sexually assaulted her, according to Agnafilo. This was not unwanted sexual contact, Agnafilo said. Mia testified that Combs sexually assaulted her on multiple occasions. She testified that Combs raped her and on another occasion forced her to perform oral sex on him. Agnafilo told the jury that Combs and Mia had consensual sexual contact, and the jury should believe that because they saw a text from Combs to Mia when he threatened to tell Cassie Ventura about it. Quote, Cassie doesn't know about it, and Mia doesn't want Cassie to know about it, end quote, Agnafilo said. Agnafilo questioned why Combs would threaten to tell Ventura about something he wrongfully did to Mia. Those are bars. J-Rock, what's happening? Those are bars. Why the fuck would any man threaten to tell somebody about, if you do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to tell people how I raped you? That makes no logical sense whatsoever. None. None. I'm going to tell my bitch how I raped you. That doesn't make any sense. Agnafilo referenced positive social media posts that Mia posted about Combs, asserting that that was how she really felt. He showed the jury the scrapbook Mia created for Combs' 45th birthday and called it an act of love. He then showed the jury a photo Mia posted of a group of people, including several of Combs' employees like Chief of Staff Christina Courtroom and members of his security team. Quote, think of a word Think of a word or phrase that comes to mind. Joy, family, home, belonging. Agnifilo asks, racketeering enterprise? This is your racketeering enterprise, folks. Mia worked from Combs from 2009 to 2017. Ventura dated Combs from 2007 to 2018. Defense argues Combs and his associates were not involved in dealing drugs. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo says there is no evidence to support the government allegation that Sean Diddy Combs and his enterprise conspired to distribute or possess with intent to distribute a controlled substance. Agnifilo said the jury has heard no allegation that Sean Combs is selling drugs. Quote, there's no doubt that he had personal use drugs. He obviously had a drug problem. Agnifilo said it's true that assistants picked up drugs for Combs, but, quote, the purpose of these businesses and enterprise has nothing to do with getting him drugs. And that's extremely believable. Nobody thinks that Bad Boy is some underling drug dealing organization. Quote, these are things that he did with his girlfriend. They did them together. There's no indication that he's selling it to Cassie or Jane or somehow move the drugs or distribute the drugs, he added, referring to Cassie Ventura and an accuser who testified under a pseudonym in the case. Hold on a second. All right, my bad. Freak-offs were part of swingers' lifestyle, not sex trafficking, defense attorney says. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo said the sex life of Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie Ventura was just not sex trafficking. Quote, it's his girlfriend. I suppose you could sex traffic your girlfriend if you sell her into prostitution. I said this day one. All of this shit, and the reason why I bring up that I said it day one is because I don't think I'm some $1 million lawyer in any span of the imagination at all. The problem that I be having with this shit is how are we trying to I told y'all they're trying to set a new precedent to where if you rich and you fuck your girl, you take your girl to trips, like let's say you live in Nebraska. You take your girl on a trip to Chicago, you fuck her there. You take your girl on a trip to Texas, you fuck her there. You take your girl on a trip to California, you fuck her there. Y'all go to Russia, you fuck her there. And then y'all break up, and then now she can come back and say that you sex trafficked her because y'all had sex in all these places y'all went. I try to tell people that's the precedent they was trying to set. Agnifilo said, adding there was no suggestion Combs was making any money off freak-offs. Ventura, who dated Combs from around 2007 to 2018, described freak-offs as sexual encounters between her and a male entertainer, typically in a hotel room with Combs present. Quote, they are swingers. They are what is that word? I've never heard this word. Avowedly swingers. This is their lifestyle, he said. Agnifilo said the evidence was overwhelming that Ventura wanted to participate in the freak-offs, but he gave the jurors a hypothetical situation in which one partner liked a particular sex act and the second partner didn't, but knew the act made the first partner happy. That's real shit. Quote, do you still not want to do it? He asked. Where does that land on the I want to do it, I don't want to do it spectrum? Agnifilo reiterated that this lifestyle choice was Ventura's choice also. So, like, I mean, that's true. There's some girls who don't want to give their man some head, and they may give that nigga some head for his birthday. Is that coercion? He knows she don't really like it, but she know that he like it, and that's her man, and so she want to make him happy. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, that type of shit scares me, where you want to try to be like, now we already got a problem with a lot of people getting divorced. Now we setting this shit up for you can get divorced and turn around and turn your fucking husband into a sex offender. Quote, she's ready to go, and God bless her, she is. She's beautiful. She's a beautiful, sexy woman. And that's what she deserves to be, if that's what she wants to be. And that's what she wants to be. Now, I will say something about this prostitution thing that is gonna suck. Diddy, let's say Diddy or Cassie, because I don't even think that you can get Cassie on this type of shit either, for the record. How were they able to order these people from these businesses? They order them from these businesses under the guise of, because they're not paying for the sex, they're paying for the entertainment. These niggas are supposed to go be strippers. That's how Cowboys for Angels can operate. They're not sending people out to go have sex. They're sending people out to go entertain. Now, in the midst of entertainment, you guys are adults, and we're not going to fire you for having sex on the job. That's basically what it is. Because if they can prove that they bought these niggas from these places for sex, then you can take down Cowboys for Angels. So I've heard of avowedly, I've never heard. I figured it was along the lines of that. I've never heard the word avowedly. I've heard of avowed. And they probably have been to the Bunny Ranch. The defense attorney also knocked the government's assertion made in prosecutors' closing argument that not all of the freak-offs were consensual. How's he supposed to know? Agnifilo said. Agnifilo read a few sexually explicit messages Ventura sent Combs referencing freak-offs. Quote, there was nothing that would say to him, this was against her will, end quote. The defense attorney dissects part of video showing 2016 assault at hotel. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo went back to the March 2016 incident at the Intercontinental Hotel, in which surveillance video shows Sean Diddy Combs assault Cassie Ventura. Messages leading up to the incident showed that Combs and Ventura were workshopping a freak-off together, Agnifilo said. Agnifilo showed the jury parts of the surveillance footage, but not the parts where Combs is being violent with Ventura, I'm sure. Acknowledging those parts of the video were terrible. Well, at least you did that. Agnifilo used the footage to argue that Combs was coming after Ventura to get a cell phone. He also said Cassie later went back into the room with Combs and the security officer because this room was not a scary place, end quote. Defense suggests something was off with the drugs Combs took before hotel incident. Not this nigga had a hot dose. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo pointed to messages between Cassie and Diddy in the days following him attacking her at the Intercontinental Hotel in 2016. One of the messages mentioned the drugs Combs took that day, which Agnifilo said were quote, different. The drugs were off. The drugs were bad. All right, bro. He suggested that that could explain Combs' behavior in the surveillance video. Quote, you are walking around the middle of the day in a hotel in a hotel in a towel and socks. So what gives? Nigga, the drugs could have been good and he did that. Like, I see what you trying to say, but nigga, the drugs could have been good enough to have this nigga out there with a towel and some socks on. So I don't know. I don't that doesn't really win me over. Defense pushes back on allegations of 2018 rape. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo told the jury that Diddy did not rape Cassie, as Cassie alleged on the stand. The defense attorney pointed out that Diddy is not charged with rape, so the jury doesn't have to consider it, but said, quote, "I can't let you think there was a rape," end quote. Ventura first alleged in her 2023 civil lawsuit against Combs and to federal investigators that she was raped in September 2018. She testified at trial that the rape actually happened in August 2018. Agnifilo suggested that she had to change her story to say it happened in August because after seeing Combs in September, Cassie texted Diddy, quote, "I had a lot of fun with you. Thanks for the night. I told myself I didn't want anything to happen, and I'm not tripping on it. I know you aren't either," end quote. That's devastating, Cassie. You said September, and then you changed it to August, and then they're alluding to it being because you sent this message in September, which that's plausible. Agnifilo said her now husband, who she was dating at the time, FaceTimed her in the middle of the night when she was with Combs. Her husband found out she was with Diddy, so, quote, "She lies and says that she was raped," end quote. This is something that happens to men. That's a very powerful statement to men because a lot of men have heard this story. Girl cheat on a man and then turn around, get caught and say that I didn't cheat on you, he raped me. Does that mean that that's what happened here? No, but it's a very believable thing that his lawyer's saying, unfortunately. And men know this to be true. Agnifilo said Ventura changed her story to August because Diddy sent her a text saying, quote, "I know I look bad to you. I could tell I didn't turn you on yesterday. I fell off, but I'm about to get my shit together," end quote. What'd you do, nut fast, Diddy? The government has argued that this was an admission from Diddy. Ventura also testified that she later had consensual sex with Combs in October. Quote, "If there was really a rape, she would not have gone back and had consensual sex. So no rape," end quote. That's really hard for me to believe. It's hard for me to believe that he raped you and then y'all fucked again a month later, but that wasn't rape. That's a hard sell for me. Hard sell. Intimate relationships with his accusers indicate Combs was not involved in sex trafficking, attorney argues. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo pointed to Cassie's answer when she was asked what kind of pain Combs put her through. Quote, "I think bigger, more than anything, it was his own personal shame in having to carry the things that were shameful to him," end quote, Cassie said. Quote, "In a sex trafficking case, the most painful thing for her was to unburden him of his shame and carry around his shame. That was that answer," Agnifilo said. Quote, "She could have answered that question in one of a million ways. The reason it's beautiful is the only person who could have answered a question that way is a person who's truly, truly in love with the other person. And all you need to know is that answer," he said. And the sad thing, I hate saying this about toxic relationships, but they did think they love each other. Love just ain't what they think it is, though. Both Cassie and Jane were saying this was this essential, vulnerable, deep part of himself, and he trusted me to go there with him, end quote, Agnifilo said, referring to another of Combs' accusers who testified under a pseudonym. He said Jane answered a similar question in the same way, talking about how she felt her nights at hotels with Combs were something special between them. Quote, "She was basically saying, listen, I'm going to be very vulnerable, special place. I'm going to a very vulnerable, special place for you, and I'm doing it because I love you," end quote, Agnifilo argued, going on to describe how in exchange Jane wanted to be treated specifically or especially. Quote, "There's a lot of things, but that's not sex trafficking," he added. And that's been what I said since day one. Lunch break. refresh, get past the lunch break. All right. Judge Subramanian is back on the bench after the lunch break. He said he now thinks it makes the most sense to charge the jury. What? That is, give them instructions before it deliberates on Monday morning instead of later this afternoon. We're awaiting the resumption of defense attorney Mark Agnefilo's closing argument. He said he thinks he has an hour left. Prosecutors expect to make a roughly 90-minute rebuttal when Agnifilo is done. Defense attorney pushes back on claim that Combs hindered Ventura's career as closing argument resumes. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo has resumed his closing argument. Agnifilo said there's nothing to Cassie's claims that Diddy held her back as an artist. I have to agree. He reminded the jury they heard from former Combs employee Capricorn Clark that Ventura got the lion's share of resources and attention from the record label from 2007 to 2010. Clark said that Ventura was a recording artist and had talent, but wasn't a natural star. Remember, Cassie, who dated Combs from around 2017 to 2018, testified her career suffered and she couldn't do many of the things she wanted because of her many freak-offs, sexual encounters with male entertainers in hotels with Diddy present. Janice with the 10-piece. Ladies, we breaking them out. I don't want to read nothing from you niggas. Just tell me what's going on. Videos from freak-offs show genuine intimacy, defense argues. Oh, Lord. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo said Combs may have threatened to release videos of freak-offs, the drug-fueled sex performances he orchestrated, from time to time, but he never would have actually done it. Agnifilo acknowledged the videos show an uncommon kind of intimacy, but he said the videos of the freak-offs actually showed a beautiful evening. The music's nice, the mood seems friendly and easygoing, and everyone is smiling, they're laughing. Forget the sex part. Yeah, it's kind of hard to forget the sex part. Nigga said, hey nigga, forget the sex part. Quote, there's a real genuine intimacy and just nice quality to these evenings, Agnifilo said, adding that the physical intimacy shown in the videos was not aggressive. Agnifilo referred to testimony from two men who testified they participated in freak-offs with Ventura, saying, quote, they both thought Cassie was into that, end quote. Quote, I don't think by any stretch of the imagination this is the only man in America making homemade porn.
This the kidnappers again, man.
Man, stop saying that shit over the phone. Damn.
I can't say shit, can I?
He has a point. He has a point. Accuser was motivated by wanting nice things and trips, defense attorney says. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo said Jane, who dated Combs from 2021 to 2024 and used a pseudonym to testify against him in this trial, was motivated by wanting nice things and trips she posted on social media. He said Jane loved Combs, but she was always focused on what I am getting out of it that the world can see, end quote, Agnifilo said. Agnifilo reiterated the argument he made about Diddy's sexual relationship with Cassie, who dated Diddy from around 2007 to 2018. Quote, the government said they're not saying every single hotel night was sex trafficking. Well then, which ones were, and how Sean Combs supposed to know the difference, end quote. Damn, that's powerful. Y'all did say that. Y'all try to be like, all of them wasn't like that, so which ones were? Damn. Feds are fucking up. And I feel like y'all doing this shit on purpose. Agnifilo also said Jane was used to moving in circles with celebrities like Combs. He reminded the jury that they learned who her child's father is and what rapper she was with in Las Vegas in January 2024. Quote, she's comfortable being in that sort of strata, Agnifilo said. Quote, That's just how she moves. Diddy took care of Jane and her child because the child's father dropped the ball, Agnifilo said. Bro, Jane, that can't be true. You can't be telling, really, nigga? That makes Diddy look like a really good guy. They're just like, look, I'm gonna just take care of you since your actual baby father ain't shit. Y'all doing a terrible job making Diddy look bad. Agnifilo described Diddy paying rent for Jane's Los Angeles house as a gesture of niceness that shouldn't be construed as a catalyst to sex trafficking. Agnifilo said Jane is receiving pretty crappy child support from the child's father. She testified at trial that she receives about $5,000 per month in child support. That's crappy? You rich niggas, bro. Quote, guess who's giving her more? The one who has no responsibility for the child at all. He's picking up the ball for someone who seems to have dropped the ball for his own kid, end quote. And Combs is still paying for Jane's house rent, even though Jane testified against him, Agnifilo said. Yeah, because that nigga couldn't really just snatch the house from her for testifying. That would have looked bad, so I ain't gonna give you really no point for that. Quote, they made a deal and he kept it. Good for him, end quote, Agnifilo said. Remember, Jane testified extensively about going with Combs to what she called hotel nights, which she described as sexual encounters with a male entertainer, typically in a hotel room. Cassie testified about similar encounters, which she said Diddy called freak-offs. People who work for Combs sometimes call such encounters king nights or wild king nights, according to testimony. Jane testified she and Diddy entered into a love contract in 2023 in which he agreed to pay her $10,000 per month rent as allowance. He is still paying for her rent. Like, y'all listen to that Dave Chappelle and just sign these hoes to love contracts, and now they in motherfucking court telling you that, nah, nigga, you trafficked me. Combs' accuser agreed to nights with him at the time, regardless of regret after the fact, defense argues. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo read aloud part of the testimony from Jane, one of Sean Diddy Combs' accusers who went by a pseudonym in the case, where she said she unfortunately agreed to a night at a hotel with Diddy she referred to as a sobriety party. When Tenny Garagos, another lawyer for the defense, had pushed her at the time on whether she regretted it, Jane said she resented Diddy for it. Quote, I believe resent and regret lie in the same feelings, she previously testified. Quote, she's regretting that she made a choice that maybe years later she would have made a different choice, or maybe she wouldn't. Maybe she just regrets it, end quote, Agnifilo said. But he argued that doesn't mean she didn't willingly participate at the time. She, quote, she's agreeing to it. He sees her agreeing to it. She regrets it. She resents him for it. That's all coming later. And I'll be with that shit. I am not with you agreeing to do some shit and then later on you feel bad about doing some shit and want to retroactively remove consent. No, you'll never get me to agree to that. Defense says Jane never gave an explanation for slamming Diddy's head during 2024 fight. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo has turned to a fight at the home of Jane, one of Diddy's accusers, testifying under a pseudonym, who previously told the court that the music mogul punch, kicked, and dragged her during the incident on June 18, 2024. Agnifilo described the incident as really, really inexplicable. He said Diddy and Jane had never been physically violent throughout their relationship, but that Jane slammed Diddy's head into a counter that night. Quote, she doesn't really give an explanation for doing this, Agnifilo said. He pointed to a photo Jane took of Diddy earlier that night, saying, half an hour later, you're just waging holy war on the guy, slamming someone's face. It just doesn't get much more aggressive than that. Agnifilo said that Jane was repeatedly calling Combs a pedophile, even though the other woman he was seeing was an adult. Quote, is she looking to get a rise out of him? End quote. That is possible. When you sitting here calling a motherfucker that, I mean, I'm in court over that right now. Like, you're not gonna fucking call me that type of shit. That shit has real weight and does real damage on people's careers and lives. you know, your whole family could stop fucking with you and everything over those type of accusations. For the record. Defense tries to cast doubt on Jane's account of 2024 altercation. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo continued addressing the testimony of Jane about an altercation between her and Diddy at her Los Angeles house on June 18, 2024. Agnifilo repeatedly said that Jane's account of the June 18th incident doesn't make sense. Her violence towards Diddy was odd and her timeline seems off, he said. Agnifilo also questioned how much Combs actually hit her, but acknowledged that he was violent with her. Quote, there's obviously physical contact, Agnifilo said, telling the jury that he'd keep true to the defense position of acknowledging Combs' domestic violence. But Agnifilo said it appeared Combs hit her twice based on the injuries to her face in visible photos and videos of Jane taken in the days after the altercation. Agnifilo also suggested Jane might have been trying to set up Combs because she knew there was an ongoing federal investigation in June 2024. The defense attorney said she might have picked a fight with Combs and then called a male entertainer to come over to create a narrative. Yeah, but he went for it. Even if that's true, nigga, you went for that shit. Yeah, this is 50's baby mama. She's a known thought in the industry to me. And so when they talk about that $5,000 a month, that's all a diss to 50. Like, in 50, you look bad. Like, you look like a sucker. I don't want to hear you say shit about Diddy, bro. Because now I understand why you've had all this hate in your heart for Diddy all these years. Nigga, this nigga was fucking your baby mama and taking care of your kid. So you're a loser. I don't want to hear you say shit. All the memes and shit you've made about Diddy, all that shit falls so flat with me. Because you're not doing this shit because you want justice for Diddy or no shit like that. You doing all this shit out of revenge. And that shit's corny to me. Corny. Defense attorney criticizes prosecution for getting only 2 male freak-off participants to testify. They did have 30 niggas. You would have thought they'd have had more of these niggas actually talk. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo mocked the government for calling to the witness stand only 2 men who they said had sex with Cassie and Diddy while Diddy watched. The government did not call any men who allegedly had sex with Jane to testify. Why didn't you? And 50, this nigga had your baby mama getting plowed out by other niggas while he watched. No wonder you hated that nigga. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic yesterday showed the jury photos of 27 men prosecutors alleged Combs paid to have sex with Cassie and Jane between 2009 and 2024. That's a lot. For you to show 27 people, but you only talked to 2 is wild. The 2 men who are said to have had sex with Cassie during freak-offs both testified that they aren't prostitutes and that they didn't travel across state lines to meet Cassie and Diddy. Both men did say during their testimony that they received money from Diddy and Cassie after having sex with her. Remember, Cassie testified about what she said Diddy called freak-offs, which she said involved her having sexual encounters with male entertainers, typically in hotel rooms with Diddy watching. Jane testified about similar encounters, which she called hotel nights. People who work with Combs sometimes call such encounters king nights or wild king nights, according to the testimony. Defense says Combs would reasonably assume his use of escort services was legal. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo referred to the escort service Cowboys for Angels that frequently provided the men who attended freak-offs the drug-fueled sex performances that Diddy orchestrated. The jury previously saw messages between Diddy and a high-ranking employee at the company. Agnifilo suggested the legality surrounding such an escort service is vague, and that the music mogul would have assumed that his operations were on the up and up. Quote, why is he supposed to know more than them? That's what I said from jump. How is he in trouble for this shit, but the business actually providing the people that are allegedly being trafficked are not in trouble? If they're in business and why is he supposed to know more than them if they're in business and they are sending escorts? That's exactly what I said. The lawyer said people pay for an escort's time, and if the two people meet and then choose to have sex, quote, it looks like that's not illegal, end quote, and it's not. Quote, there are all these companies around the world doing this, and Cowboys for Angels is one of them, he said, adding that their existence is evidence in Diddy's mind that what they were doing was okay. He said Cowboys for Angels still appears to be in business today. Agnifilo also argued that the videos of freak-offs were homemade porn. Quote, in every porn movie, I'm assuming, wait, nigga, don't try to add I'm assuming. In every porn movie, I'm assuming, the actors get paid to have sex. How is that not prostitution? I don't know, and you don't either. That's why I said this about the feds the whole time. I was like, man, why the fuck y'all, if y'all getting niggas for sex trafficking, y'all need to end that business, and y'all won't even end that fucking business. Stupid. Defense arguing against racketeering conspiracy charge notes no one was indicted with Combs. One man RICO. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo told the jury that no alleged co-conspirators were indicted with Sean Diddy Combs, noting Combs alone was indicted. The government doesn't have any alleged co-conspirators who testified to prove the racketeering conspiracy charge against Combs, Agnifilo said. The government suggested Christina Coram, a former chief of staff for Combs, was a co-conspirator, but Agnifilo said Coram was just a helpful employee whom everyone loved. He questioned why Cassie would call Coram and D-Rock, the former head of Combs Security, after Combs assaulted Cassie at California's Intercontinental Hotel in 2016, if they were co-conspirators working only for Combs' benefit. Facts. Why would she call to get help from the people that is helping him do it? That makes sense. Quote, a co-conspirator would kick the door in, right? I mean, God forbid if John Gotti was at your door, would you call Sammy the Bull Gravano? Exactly. That makes sense. Prosecution arranged testimony about Combs' guns to make jury think he's a bad person, defense claims. Mark Agnifilo, the lawyer making his closing argument in defense of Diddy, claimed the prosecution called a witness who testified about guns found in music mogul's home as a ploy to make the jury scared of him. Andre Lamont, a special agent with Homeland Security investigations, testified that he didn't know if the firearms in Combs' Los Angeles home were found inside a gun safe or not. Quote, they brought out a big, nasty, scary gun to show you. For what purpose? To make you think he's a bad person who has big, scary guns. Quote, and if they're going to do that, don't you think they have an obligation to put a witness on the stand to tell you where they were? End quote. Quote, at what point do you stop trusting the government? Oh, that is a fucking devastating statement. Apparently, a lot of you niggas trust the government now. All you niggas don't trust the government until now. All of a sudden, y'all trust these niggas. That's devastating. He is innocent, defense attorney says at the end of closing argument. Wrapping up his closing argument, defense attorney Mark Agnifilo told the jurors that it would take courage to acquit Sean Diddy Combs, but asked them to do the right thing and acquit him of all the charges against him. Quote, you should feel bold. You should feel the courage that you will need to call this as you see it. And I'm asking you to summon that courage and to do what it needs to be done. Quote, he is not a racketeer, end quote. He is none of these things. Quote, he is innocent. He sits there innocent. Return him to his family who have been waiting for him. Agnifilo suggested the government targeted Combs after Cassie Ventura's November 2023 lawsuit came out and did what they could to get him without having the evidence. It's rebuttal time. We'll probably do rebuttal tonight because we're basically caught up. I mean, I think Mark did a decent job. KS Dub, what's happening? I think Critical Smoker was happening cuz I think he did a good job. Especially ending with the shit that I said. When have we ever heard of a fucking one-man RICO? There's nobody else. Nobody else. One man Rico. From what I heard right there, I'm not gonna say the majority. The majority of the jury may think that Diddy's guilty. They're not getting everybody on the jury to say Diddy's guilty, and I stand on that. Not YouTube's lawyers sitting there, bro. Don't be hitting me asking me shit while I'm at work. Don't be hitting me while I'm at work, telling me I got until 4 o'clock to answer. I'm at work, bro. I will get to you niggas when I get time. You niggas don't run my life. Ray J, what's happening? The feds did a poor job. They did. This has nothing to do. Even if they get Diddy locked up, they did a poor job. They did a terrible job. They didn't even lock nobody else up. Nothing. They used Cassie's motherfucking, and the fucked up part about this shit, let's say Diddy beat this case. All of them fucking all of them other civil lawsuits getting thrown out. Because he'll be able to say, well, the feds didn't even use them. The feds only used this case because the feds knew that these motherfuckers was lying. Tommy.
Stop the cap.
I can't wait to hear what the government says on rebuttal. Because this was boo-boo. Defense attorney improperly suggested that government targeted Combs. This is a losing argument with the jury. During the jury's break between the end of the defense closing argument and the upcoming prosecutor's rebuttal, Judge Subramanian said defense attorney Mark Agnifilo improperly suggested to the jury that the government targeted Sean Combs. The judge said he's going to instruct the jury that the government's decisions about prosecutions are not for the jury to consider. That little jab you threw at the government. At what point do we stop trusting the government? Y'all better have some fire, some thunder and lightning on this motherfucking rebuttal, nigga, because y'all can't just get up there and go, the attorney's lying. Don't believe him, believe us. You got more than that. And you know what does make the job for the prosecution worse and harder? I don't want to say worse, but harder. The fact that Diddy ain't have no witnesses in his defense. So they can't even be up there and be like, yeah, well, so-and-so got up here for Diddy and said blah, 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 which is some bullshit. They can't do none of that. That sucks for them. That totally sucks for them. Totally sucks. Diddy hugged defense attorney Mark Agnifilo, placing his head on the lawyer's shoulder. Diddy trying to come home, nigga. You selling this shit, Diddy. Not you hugged him with your head on his shoulder, Diddy. Stop playing. Court sketch? I need a court sketch of that. Diddy, you a wild boy for that one. That's wild. We almost there, Tommy. 220 left? Almost there. Almost fucking there. This nigga really sold that, try to sell that shit. Do you think that Mark Agnifilo did a good job? 1 for yes, 2 for no. And by good job, do you think that he potentially casted enough reasonable doubt? Because that's all he has to do is cast reasonable doubt. Because they have to make him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you think he did that? 1 for yes, 2 for no. He pointed out a lot of good shit. No co-conspirators. You can't say this nigga was dealing drugs. You don't even have, like, you only called 2 of the 27 people. How the fuck is Cowboys for Angels still in business, but Diddy should be in trouble for the shit? Diddy should be in trouble for using their services, but the business itself ain't in trouble. Like, these are some powerful things. Nobody up here, nobody testified to any type of conspiracy, any type of shit. Like, he's actually right. They didn't. That don't mean it didn't happen, but they didn't. Like I said, they didn't even bring up past times Diddy was violent and everybody knew about it. All they did was, in my opinion, was show that this nigga was in he's a toxic ass boyfriend. And he find toxic girls to be with. Oh, there's no mic to that, Ace, and the jury instructions will be key. Will be extremely key. We went through this whole thing and we ain't got one celebrity tied to a freak off with Diddy. Nobody's talking about Jay being around, none of that shit. Like, there's no celebrity, there's nobody that testified to Diddy would have these parties at. No, there's not 1 inch of testimony that says Diddy would throw, because what do we all think? Diddy threw wild parties, and then at some part in the night, they went and did these freak offs. Nobody has testified to this. Not even the people like Cassie or old girl. Nobody has testified to these parties turning into this. Craziness. The one man Rico. Like the OJ trial, planting seeds of doubt. I mean, lots of seeds. Lots of seeds. We'll probably definitely go. Well, there's no problem. We will go over the rebuttal tonight because they getting ready for this shit now. They said 8 weeks. They lied about that. It's going to take 8 weeks. They lied. The defense was so not worried about their case, they literally didn't call any witnesses. Yeah, they made the freak offs completely separate from all of those Diddy parties. Not one of these freak offs was like, this was some shit that happened after a Diddy party. This is why I think a lot of this shit is, I think this shit is a ruse. I think the feds is in on it. I think that the powers that be wanted to punish Diddy for a little bit and put him through this shit. Because now, if he get off, you can't even sit here and be like, oh, but the parties and blah, blah, blah. Man, the feds didn't even mention a single Diddy party. That's something that has shocked me in this case. This shit been going on for about a year now and shit like that, and nowhere has anybody even mentioned a Diddy party. A one-man conspiracy ain't even a real thing. Beautiful to point that out. A one-man conspiracy. A one-man Rico, bro. That's crazy. TD Jakes was never brought up in this shit. Like, a lot of people we thought, like, you know, there's a lot of people we thought would have been mentioned. None of the shit got mentioned. I'm truly shocked that it just centered around, like, at the beginning, there's no way you could have won money off of me. Because there was no way you could have got me to believe that this case would just be totally centered around like 2 relationships he had with some girls. I just knew it was like there's no rando girls that enter. Like there's not even no shit where it's just like Diddy saw this bitch at a show. Because remember, a lot of these civil suits was like Diddy saw them somewhere and fucked them. Not saying that it ain't possible or couldn't have happened, but it never made it into this case. It's like they protected all the other celebrities that have anything to do with Diddy. Because we've seen stuff and we've heard people say shit, and it's just like now all of a sudden they've called themselves trying to like debunk it almost in a way. Exactly. Ellen, that motherfucking Conan shit, all of that shit, it's like it didn't even get a mention. The feds didn't even mention these niggas. All this shit is very controlled. It don't even make it seem like Diddy was like really a hoe like that. It made it like Diddy was just like with these 2 girls doing toxic shit and they was getting all this extra dick, and then Diddy fucked the one girl on the side, the Mia chick. And I don't even believe that, but that's what the government put out there. The government didn't, they had a chance to put this shit out there and make it seem like Diddy was just so in the, like, almost like a sex fiend at points. Just the way that this case was presented is just weird. That's the other thing. There has been zero testimony of Diddy having any gay sex. They never said Diddy try to rub on these niggas, had them niggas do anything to him. He didn't get no head. He wasn't performing on nobody. Nothing. The worst they got was Cassie took somebody's cum and rubbed it on him. But that's not a sexual act. That's not a homosexual act for him, though. I ain't never seen Diddy with no white chick either. But we all assumed, especially with these freak offs and shit, nobody thought by the end of the shit with the prosecution, we wouldn't hear at least one story of Diddy doing some gay shit. Remember, y'all niggas started saying no Diddy, because that's supposed to mean you not gay like Diddy. There has been not one story of Diddy being on some gay shit with this. And if it's gay for him to be in another room while niggas is fucking, then a lot of you niggas is gay too. Yeah, that's definitely some yuck treated, but that's a ritual. She's trying to make Diddy powerful with somebody else's soul. But as far as this nigga, any type of ass play, any type of giving somebody some head, letting the nigga suck him off, we ain't heard none of this. And it's shit like that where it's like, that's why I be feeling like this shit is a whole setup. This shit is set up for Diddy to be shamed publicly, you know, a humiliation ritual of sorts and all this shit, and he'll go free. Because I know the feds could have charged a better case than this. So you have to ask, why didn't they? Then they use all fucking white girls to try to prosecute this nigga. The prosecution table's all white women. Like, yeah, where's Fabulous? And bro, there's so many stories that we've heard from people and shit on record, and none of the shit was like even Diddy party wasn't even mentioned in the Diddy trial about freak offs. I never expected that. So those are the type of things that bother me of this, where it's just like, why wouldn't y'all bring up any of this shit? The feds didn't even bring up the possibility of Diddy fucking random bitches and raping them. They ain't even bring it. They ain't even flirt with it. Tidy and T.I., Candy, the baby. Like, I can name you a million motherfuckers, bro. They didn't even call Justin Bieber. They didn't call Usher. Nothing. There was no mention of Usher, no mention of Bieber. We've seen the videos. We've heard the shit that he said about these niggas when they were minors. No mention. No mention. That's crazy to me. I thought they was calling him. I thought they was calling the white boy with the drugs. I'm like, so he got to beat his drug case and not have to testify? No mentions of this shit. None. I ain't never heard the tampon story. That's new to me. But there was no mention of any possibility that he did anything to Kim Porter. None. Remember, old boy, what's old boy name? I'll be sure. He was begging to testify. Brendan was him. Thank you, Ray J. But he obviously didn't testify to this nigga selling dope. This shit, for this shit to be this Rico, this shit flimsy as fuck. And this doesn't mean that the defense team is right. But the defense team, they have to really believe this is a flimsy case to call no witnesses for a nigga that I guarantee they could have called a million niggas. They could have had a million niggas get up on the stand and just, if nothing else, testify to Diddy's character. They didn't even do that. I guarantee you there's so many people they could have, because there's a lot, Diddy didn't fuck over everybody. And I was pointing that out while the case is going on. I was like, man, ain't nobody really coming out and saying shit. They ain't even called no character witnesses for that nigga. They was like, this ain't even needed. With the way that the defense responded, it's very, very hard for me to believe that they're going to get a unanimous conviction. I just don't see it. Let's see what they saying so far. Because I'm going to be out of here soon. Jay-Z been quiet and never even got mentioned. Defense blamed others for Combs' behavior, prosecutor says, while starting rebuttal. Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey has begun her rebuttal to the defense closing argument. The defense just spent a whole lot of energy trying to blame his victims and the U.S. government for his lies, his threats, and for his inexcusable behavior. Tossing up excuse after excuse for inexcusable behavior. Make no mistake, this trial was about how, in Sean Combs' world, no was never an option. See, that's lame. That's very weak as fuck to me. That's extremely weak to me. That's not saying anything. You're not saying, when you say that, you're not saying anything. Like, that's extremely weak to me. You trying to prove a RICO, bro. Shit gotta be a little more than this, my nigga. You're trying to prove a RICO. And then, but there was rumors coming out that Jay-Z is going to perform at the Super Bowl this year or in 26. Do you think that they can get a unanimous conviction? 1 for yes, 2 for no, because they have to have it. Prosecutor says it's obvious Combs knew he was breaking the law by flying out escorts. Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey said Diddy is trying to wiggle out of federal transportation charges by saying he never tried to pay anyone for sex. Quote, he flew escorts across the country, watched them have sex while he masturbated, and then he handed them cash. then why ain't you going after Cowboys for Angels? We gonna lock up the John, but we ain't gonna lock up the pimp. Make this make sense. But the feds are trying to pretend like there ain't no way that this shit works. We wouldn't, because all they gotta say is we weren't paying him for the sex. We was paying him for the entertainment, and then we had sex after it. Comey said the defense suggestion that those things had nothing to do with each other doesn't even pass the laugh test. If that's the case, why is Cowboys for Angels in business? When are you going to go shut that down? Because they're in business today. Let me just go check the website. Let's see if they're in business today. Well, looks like this shit is up today. Straight elite male companions for women. How our encounters work. This is how it works at Cowboys for Angels. This is straight from their website. Looking for the ultimate boyfriend experience with an elite straight male companion? We're glad you found us. We cater to the most discerning, exclusive woman who expects only the best in her dating experiences. When scheduling an appointment, you will be working with our all-female staff who are ready to answer all of your questions and help you plan your adventure. Booking an appointment with the most elite male companions in the world is a simple process. View our Cowboys for Angels model gallery, select the male companion that interests you, request an encounter by filling out our form. Okay, let's see. So you could pick one of the men from Vegas, LA, South Florida, New York, Connecticut, Austin, Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, Central Florida, DC, Greenville. Damn, they got niggas in Greenville. Nashville, Ohio, San Francisco, San Diego, Scottsdale, Seattle, and Sun Valley. So, out rip, we see on here what? We see that Diddy could have got multiple men from this spot without any of them ever having to be flown out. They said he was getting hoes in Los Angeles. Well, they have hoes in Los Angeles. They said he was getting hoes in Florida. They have hoes in Florida, South Florida, and Central Florida. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. They have hoes in 21 cities. Wouldn't they be the sex traffickers? What is so hard about this? If you want me to go with the Diddy shit, then you got to get them, bro. Period. All right, so we're going to pick this random nigga from Las Vegas, Keyran. About Keyran. Keyran is our sophisticated, educated, and outgoing male companion in Las Vegas. This beautiful man was born and raised in the Northeast where he started his college career, following with his undergrad in sunny California. Keyran has a love for classical music and anything sci-fi. His gentle demeanor complements his chiseled physique, making this gentleman the envy of all others at your next event or perhaps your next travel. As a model, gemologist, and real estate entrepreneur, he has lived and traveled all around the world and would be the envy of all others as your date at your next event or perhaps your next trip. Keyran loves to meet new people from different backgrounds and cultures. In his free time, Keyran enjoys hiking, working out, studying diamonds and gems, and exploring Las Vegas jewelry industry. Have we piqued your curiosity with this companion? Call us now to meet this adventurous companion in Las Vegas. 6'1", 180 pounds, 44 years old, with black hair and brown eyes. Let's view his rates. For 2 hours, you can have this nigga for $750. For 4 hours, $1,450. Half a day rate, $3,000. whole day rate $4,000, weekend rate $7,500, and if you want this nigga for a week, $22,500. Let's look at frequently asked questions. Even though straight male companion agencies are legal in the United States, why is there a social stigma related to them? That's the first one. Often the stigma surrounding professional straight male companionship is wrapped up in a misunderstanding of what is actually being offered. As a busy, professional, discerning woman, you are looking for someone to spend your time with who already understands your life. Someone who does not need constant attention or to be coddled. Someone who wants to make you feel like an absolute queen and has no expectations for time commitments or emotional labor. Someone who can escort you to an important event and put all his attention on you, but isn't intimidated by how you capture a room. This is the beauty of straight male companionship. You are paying for the time and company of someone you don't have to hand feed. A man who is educated, classy, and experienced. This may not be the thing for everyone. And those who do not understand often speak negatively about experience because they believe it is something else. Our terms and conditions very clearly lay out what we do and do not offer and what you can expect on your date. Let's go check that out. Hold on right quick. And I'm back. Let's check out the terms of service. You know me, I love my terms of service. What part is relevant? All right, let's start here with encounter requirements. This is Article 6. An assignment can be provided daily during opening hours. During an encounter, no other people can be present unless in a public environment. Any persons expected to be present at the time of the encounter must be disclosed to agency staff at the time of booking. If a client fails to meet any requirements as stated in Article 6, he or she is offered a one-time opportunity to make sure the requirements are met within a reasonable time frame. The time spent is at the expense of the client. If a client is unwilling or not capable to meet the requirements, the encounter is immediately terminated without right to refund. Client requirements. Client will handle all communication surrounding assignment and or encounter him herself. It is not permitted to place an assignment for an encounter for third parties. Client needs to be at least 21 years old. In case of doubt about the age of the client during the encounter, the client will present a valid proof of identity to the companion for inspection. Client must refrain from possession and or the use of being under the influence of large amounts of alcohol and or drugs, so some. The client must refrain from demanding and or encouraging the companion to consume alcoholic beverages and or use of drugs. Client will ensure that at the commencement of, end of, and during the encounter, the companion is accessible for Cowboys for Angels and has regular internet access. The client will treat the companion with respect during the encounter and never force the companion to perform acts that are in conflict with the companion's will or may otherwise be in conflict with the law. Client will not ask for, demand, or encourage sex or sexual acts. The contract with one of our companions is limited to companionship services only. Fees reflect hourly rates for companionship services and not for sexual services of any kind. In no manner shall the client or companion engage in the request of exchange of sexual acts for money. Sexual acts are not contracted for, nor is requested to be contracted for or compensated in any manner. That is very clear what they're doing right there. Oh, y'all can fuck, but y'all can't have no contract to fuck for money in any way. Client will respect the privacy of the companion and will, amongst other things, client will consider all information provided by a companion during the encounter as confidential and treated as such. Client is never permitted to make any audio, video, or photo recordings of companion. Client is never permitted to ask the companion for their real name or undertake any attempt to obtain it. Client is never permitted to make direct contact with a companion to exchange contact details or to disclose theirs to the companion. Client is never permitted to inspect the private properties and contents of these, a companion, such as their handbag, hand luggage, and mobile phone. Client will not inspect, copy, or make these his own in any way. Client shall only take companion to social occasions after explicit permission from and thorough consultation with Cowboys for Angels and companion. Content will allow companion privacy during toilet and bathroom use and telephone conversations of a personal nature and or with Cowboys for Angels, and stay clear of the immediate vicinity of companion during these. Client is never permitted to provide any details which may infringe on the privacy of companion in any way in public reviews. Client must always refrain from misleading, harassment, and or other acts or commission which endanger the safety of Cowboys for Angels and or the companions engaged in it. So they don't even say that you can't fuck them. You just can't pay them to fuck them. And it's written like that on purpose. Prosecution is trash. You niggas is doing this shit on purpose. You niggas is doing this shit on purpose. You niggas is doing this shit on purpose. Yeah, we paid, yeah, exactly. We paid them to make a movie. They decided to fuck. They're grown. That's why they like, be very clear. You cannot make any contract for y'all niggas to fuck. No. But y'all can fuck. It's a cold game. It's a cold game. And the prosecution is struggling with this. They're not even honest to the fact that Cowboys for Angels offers men in 21 cities. That sounds like sex trafficking. If you're going to tell me that, come on, it's laughable for Diddy to say that he was using their services and thinking that flying them out was legal. If that's the case, why are they still in business? That would help your case. That would have helped their case tremendously. Yeah, and Cowboys for Angels out of business and we locked they niggas up. But that ain't what happened. And you can't go fuck with them. With Ventura, Diddy associates played both sides because that helped Diddy. What? Prosecutor Maureen Comey responded to the defense suggestion that Diddy couldn't have had an enterprise because its purpose wasn't illegal activity. Quote, an enterprise could have lawful and unlawful purposes. Okay. Prosecutors aren't claiming Diddy's companies themselves were illegal, but that, quote, they used some of the money to further the enterprise, end quote. She said former Combs Chief of Staff Christina Courtroom and D-Rock, the former head of Combs Security, were friendly with then Combs' girlfriend Cassie because it helped them get her back to Diddy and do what he wanted. Quote, they played both sides, end quote. Why would you say this? That's stupid. You want us in one hand to hear that she poured her heart out to these people and these people. So you're admitting that they're liars. These people that you want us to believe were actually helping her. They weren't. Now you're trying to say they weren't actually helping her. They were just spies for Diddy. It can't be both. Man, this is stupid. This is making me mad. But that's the thing, Scott Johnson. It's more than girl bosses. Remember, I just read you the terms of service where they made sure to put he in that shit after all of that is just for girl shit in there. This shit crazy, bro. Insane. Prosecution just isn't doing a good job, bro. Maybe they'll get him though. But I already see what I'm gonna be on tonight. These niggas, they're not saying anything that makes me go, yep, they're getting ready to get unanimous. They ain't saying shit at all. But hey, everybody who doubt me, hey man, you know what you can do after this stream. You can go to every other stream where they're gonna tell you that everything that was said today proves that Diddy's going to jail for the rest of his life, and they won't even point out nothing that could have even remotely been questionable about the way the prosecution moves. And people will also put on me that all I do is say the prosecutor or defense is right about everything, even though I've pointed out multiple things that I don't think was right and things they should have tried and all that shit. But it's all about a narrative. It's all about a narrative. The truth gets hazy in a lot of these situations. I personally hate celebrity cases because people are a little more sound in their thinking, in my personal opinion, when it's just like two people you don't know. So like we bring up some cases of people you don't know and the shit's like this, then it's easier to decipher. But when there's like a level of celebrity involved, I swear it changes everything. I think I got enough blunt left to read this part. Before I go with the rest of my day, hey. This is bribery. Prosecutor says about deal to obtain Ventura assault video. Prosecutor Maureen Comey addressed a non-disclosure agreement that Eddie Garcia, who worked as a security officer at California's Intercontinental Hotel, said he signed. Background. Garcia testified that after Diddy assaulted Combs' then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura at the hotel in March 2016, Combs gave him $100,000 in cash in exchange for the surveillance video showing the assault. Garcia said he signed paperwork, including a non-disclosure agreement and a declaration noting it was the only existing copy of the video on Combs' company letterhead. Well, let's stop right there. Can't nobody sign no NDA about a crime. So you want me to believe that that NDA was about like him not telling the police and shit? That's just something you're alluding to, which can't no NDA stand on that. You can't put, man, bro, so many people be getting tricked with these papers. The non-disclosure agreement shows Comey said that Diddy was worried about law enforcement since it mentioned Garcia had to tell Combs if he received a court order. Comey pointed to Garcia's testimony that Combs told him to not make any big purchases with the money. The only reason Diddy would say that is if he was worried the police may try to track down the video, Comey said. That you implying that. That don't prove that. He could be talking about don't spend money like that because the government gonna ask where the money coming from, like the IRS. That is not an implication of, man, they doing this shit on purpose. Of course, the police and an investigation were on Sean Combs' mind when the payment was arranged. Comey said, this is bribery. You gotta be fucking kidding me. You can't be, this ain't for real, bro. This ain't even for real. Comey responded to defense attorney Mark Agnefilo's claims that the recordings of the phone calls with Jane following Ventura's November 2023 lawsuit show that Combs was worried about civil lawsuits. Comey pointed out that on the recording, Diddy says several times that he can't be on the phone. Quote, plaintiff's lawyers don't get to tap phones. No! This is not real! Diddy only had to worry about the police recording phone calls, or did he have to worry about any and everybody recording phone calls? Bro, I cannot believe y'all doing this shit on purpose. This is fucking on purpose. Quote, who taps phones? The feds. Who taps phones? Law enforcement. What he's doing on those calls is tampering with a witness. Him saying he can't talk on the phone is now witness tampering. I give up. I fucking give up. Yep, Diddy going to jail for life. Cause it's prison for life. He ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. He's just been stopped now. Cause it's prison for life. What about old boy from that song that sat on the podcast talk about he knew about bitches getting drugged and he was with it. They ain't even call him. Look, this motherfucker Diddy, she's like, who taps phones? This nigga did. We are in technology, in a technology age where it ain't just fucking Diddy you gotta worry about. Like, we just heard about somebody as small as the super producer talking about how Jed set her up. Like, anybody who would ever have what they think is a private call with Jedediah Brown is insane. Like, everybody be recording everybody. People would be not following the laws. They don't even find out if it's a two-party state or not, or if it's a one-party state. This whole thing where it's like a motherfucker saying they can't talk. This ain't the 80s, bro. This ain't the 90s. A motherfucker saying that they worried about being recorded on the phone, it could be you can't imply it's the police. You have to show me evidence that Diddy's saying the feds is listening. I don't want to talk on the phone because the feds might be listening. The police might be listening. You're not going to get me to believe that with him saying just simply he can't talk on the phone, that's witness tampering, and he's only saying that because of the police. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. As easy as it is, it's easier than ever to record a phone call. Like, anybody can do it. But he's only, as somebody that's a massive public figure, is only worried about the feds recording them. They don't even want you to believe that Diddy was way more worried about the public finding out about Cassie than the police. They won't even admit that that's plausible. That is plausible. See, he got money and attorneys and shit that can make that shit go away. But when the public find out about certain shit, I guarantee there's a gang of shit that we don't fucking know about with Diddy that he made go away instantly with law enforcement. You telling me in all this shit that y'all claim this nigga on, there's nobody in law enforcement that ever helped Diddy? Nobody. Nobody. All right. Whatever. It is what it is. But the good part about it is we'll know soon. I don't see the jury taking more than a week. I don't see them being gone for like maybe a day or two. Maybe. With the amount of shit that they're gonna try to push them through, then I give you a week, but we'll know in anywhere from 7 to 14 days max. 14 days is the outright maximum for me. Because after today, they get jury instructions on Monday, and then they going to go talk about it. This nigga said he didn't want to talk on the phone. That is proof of witness tampering. Give me a fucking break. That's ridiculous. It's like you're not even trying for real. I should have had all these motherfucking celebrities come testify. Even if the celebrities would have testified. I mean, look, even Marlon Wayans is on record saying that, yeah, Diddy, I went to Diddy parties, but I left before all that shit happened. If they could have at least had people testify to that, they could, bro, there's so much shit they left on the floor on purpose. How long do y'all think before a verdict? I think I agree with Bob too. I think they'll be done before the holiday. Cause ain't none of them. Which one of them jurors is trying to give up their fucking 4th of July for this? Steven, what's happening? Squad game in the building. We gonna break out the what?
Bring it to Medusa!
Third shifters, my bad last night. Shit happens. The defense is doing, or the prosecution is doing a terrible job, even in this rebuttal so far. Why else would Diddy pay? She wants you to believe that the only reason Diddy would have paid for that tape is because of the police. That's not true. And everybody knows that's clearly not true. Like, it's the lying for me. Why lie? Tell the truth. You gonna say that it's not even possible that he was just paying for that shit to just keep it out of the fucking tabloids and all of this shit. This is outrageous. Lefty was happening. Sorry, whoever I ain't said what's up to. You know, I was doing a lot of reading. Doing a lot of reading, as the kids say. I might now tonight, if I'm not on at like normal time, I will be coming late. My daughter leave for camp tomorrow, so you know I gotta make sure all of that's straight. And I don't think I could be up too late. No, I think I should be fine. Because I don't think they leaving like early like that. And Bob, I think you're right. I think that's part of the reason why they wanted to push them until Monday to give them the instructions. Just so they don't have to deal with, you know, being technically in deliberation after today. Letting them have a weekend. It's hard for me to believe that next weekend we're going to be here on next Friday talking about the jury's going to deliberate over the weekend. It's hard for me to believe that. It's hard for me to believe that. So. Guess we'll just have to wait and see. Just gonna have to wait and see. This is just this shit just seems like a ruse to me. A lot of people think that I'm just like in this pro Diddy camp, and I'm anything but in a pro Diddy camp. I think that I just feel like the bigger thing of all of this is it's a ruse. I think the feds are involved, and I think the feds are losing on purpose. And it goes back to what I said at the beginning when I was like, okay, so the feds have a 95% conviction rate. Who is in the 5%? And if they lose this case, how far does their shit plummet? How far does their shit plummet? Are they still losing after losing to Diddy? Are they still in the 90s? That's all I want to know. Are they still in the 90s? And by George, I think I have my answer. By George, I think I have my answer. But I will be the first to tell you, I could be wrong. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. We'll just have to wait and see. But I will tell you, I feel pretty confident. And as for you, YouTube lawyers, y'all niggas will wait. I'm with Critical Smoker. I think this trial was just more along the lines of a humiliation ritual. Because Diddy got too big for his britches. He went after Diageo or whatever the fuck that alcohol place is, and then he was starting to say that they wasn't letting him do certain shit because he black and was trying to make it a race thing, and I believe that they spanked him over it. I assume that they spanked him over it. Or this is a spanking over it. Because if they was really trying to get this nigga, they could get him. I could help them draw the case up right now that we can get Diddy to sit down 10, 15 years. They're going after a fucking life sentence for this nigga. But then again, I'm probably lying. Say peace to your boy. We got the rest of the rebuttal this evening. We got the rest of the rebuttal. And I give you one more thing as everybody's saying peace. Prosecutor pushes back on suggestion that accusers enjoy freak-offs and hotel nights. Prosecutor Maureen Comey pushed back on the defense's suggestion that Cassie and Jane enjoyed freak-offs and hotel nights, and that they were a sexual preference they shared with Combs. Comey described, quote, freak-offs and hotel nights as, quote, being in a dark hotel room, awake for days, covered in oil, wearing 8-inch heels, often with a UTI, sitting in the same position, performing oral sex for hours. She also described it as, quote, having sex for hours, including with strangers, end quote, and, quote, having unprotected sex with stranger after stranger, a rotation of men for days. There's a lot of bitches out here like this, Miss Comey. That ain't with Diddy. There's a lot of bitches that be running around. Never mind. They're doing this shit on purpose. Comey said Ventura didn't have a financial incentive to lie on the stand. She already secured $30 million in settlements from Diddy and the Intercontinental Hotel before testifying at trial, Comey said. Is she fucking serious? They're doing this on purpose. Cassie already got paid and had the media on her side, Comey said, quote, why would she risk it all by perjuring herself at a federal trial? This is the same bitch that sat on the stand and said she didn't think that she could cheat on Diddy because they weren't married. She's doing this shit on purpose. She's doing this shit on purpose, bro. This is on purpose. This is fucking on purpose. Wiley Girl, Trina, Bob, Janice, Lennox, Big, Lefty, Kendra, Critical Smoker, Shayna, Lefty, it's about to be time.
Sweetie! Sweetie!
But, you know what I mean? I'm waiting to be wrong. But if I'm right, all I'm going to do is check the temperature of the room. Nothing else. Jennifer, hello, goodbye. Scott Johnson, shout out to Potato Gaming. Potato Gaming's working on something special. So shout out to Potato Gaming. Hopefully I can get on DayZ with them this weekend. That's the plan. And I want to get some of this money from these new joints on GTA. God is great. Tonight's stream should be fun, so we can read the rest of this shit to see if the prosecution did what it takes to put this nigga in jail or in prison for a long ass time. God is great, man. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. I know I will. Mark Agnafilo, is there anything you would like to say before we leave?
Belt to ass. I guess we gon' survive the onslaught of this lawsuit. He got 22 days from the 5th. But boy, I know that he coming back to YouTube because he needs some help because his grip is gone. I might not have the lyrics, but I'm telling y'all that we're looking real strong, and I guess do say we ain't going nowhere. So this is what I'll say. You tried, they helped you, you failed. Good luck. Bye-bye. Dismiss. Get your ass out of here.
We out,
I only heard from two teams. Guess what the two teams that called me on say, what's your phone number, where you gonna be?
Who that?
Hey, Shannon, one of them little white girls at the door, she got on a Gucci dog collar talking about she came over here instead of letting you choke her in public.
Shut the fuck up.
Hey, don't think you can start disrespecting me because you got the little white girl at the door and you live on the air, bro. I don't care about you being live on the air. Who you think you talking to?
Next door.
That's what I thought, bro. You better be talking to next door, man. You got me all the way messed up. Don't you ever disrespect me like that again. Just because you got all these cases and all that stuff going on, man, don't mean you gonna start disrespecting me, bro. Stop choking them little white girls. Got me all the way messed up. Hall of Fame head ass.
Cincinnati Bengals was one.
Well, what, Gabby?
Well, you're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Gabby.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah, I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you do what you did to me.
Lord Jesus.
Okay, well...
Well, what?
God is great. I'll see y'all tonight.
Yo, what's going on, boys? How are you?
Yo, dab me up.
Hey, all right, damn. What part of the city are you from?
Yo,
what's up?
there, brother.
Hey,
yeah.
What's up?
Yeah.
You guys ready for this?
Take this.
Oh, all right, sick. Why don't you guys come inside?
Don't ski.
These are the guys.
I'm Octavius Gray. And I'm Steve. Steve LeVois. It's okay, I have vape in here, right?
Set the mood right. Pick you up, baby, I'm looking so fly. Sunset rooftop, yeah, that's nice, right? Hop in the G-Class, I know you need that. Heart racing fast like the speed of light. Is this attraction, or is it the moonlight? You want satisfaction, but only for one night. This could be real love, but you've been broken, and I just want you to see what I can be for you. 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 You got me wrapped up in your love.
Barely.
Finding you is like
See you in a minute, Cynthia.
Making my heart feel this way, yeah, yeah. And I'll treat you so damn special. What you did, who you were with, I don't care about those days. When I'm with you, I won't complain. Share your success and heartbreaks. Yeah, you know I stay by your side. Never leave you dissatisfied. But I need you to let me know. Is this attraction, or is it the moonlight? You want satisfaction, but only for one night. This could be real love, but you've been broken, and I just want you to see what I can be for you. 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 Baby girl, it's just one night. Yeah, baby girl, it's just one night. Oh, yeah, it's just one night. Yeah, baby girl, it's just one
crushed it.
God is great. Let him handle it. I trust him more than the feds.
Guys, I gotta go.
You got it,
I don't
Jess.
want to hurt myself.
You gotta pee?
It's all right.
No,
You got it, Jess.
go. You gotta go, girl.
Let go.
I don't even want to fall.
Turn to the side.
You're okay. Just
You're good.
land right on that booty, girl. Just put your legs out
Turn
and
to the
pull
side.
on your booty.
Jess, you're amazing. You got it.
You got it. You got it. Turn to the side. Just let go and turn. Like you're laying in bed.
Yep.
Like you're jumping onto your bed on your side.
Just let go. Turn to the side. Shut your eyes.
You got it, my love.
Just turn to the side.
You're okay.
Good job, girl.
I've never even heard of him.
I'm petty.